Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? I am doing not too bad. Not too bad. I've applied for a couple of jobs today, and I've been doing some additional work. But today, we're going to be reacting to some news. First things first, we're going to go straight into more Pegasus. After we watch these Timberland boots. Not even gonna waste time, we're just gonna get straight into the stream. We're not even gonna...
We'll go back to a series so impasta. Even the LA streamers subscribed in today's video. Hassan is once again going viral for calling half of America terrorists, particularly Republicans. He gets confronted on a progressive podcast for his statement supporting Hamas terrorists. He responds doubling down as always. Streamer Destiny is calling out Hassan for being the biggest hypocrite imaginable. He calls him an inconsiderate clout demon. Massive updates to the Sai Kuno situation. A new accuser has come forward with her story about Sai Kuno. She talks about her sexual encounter with Sai Kuno in a hotel room and implies some serious criminal stuff. Asmongold has responded, calling out the complete BS and how she explicitly admits to giving consent. She also reveals she's mad because she couldn't continue a relationship with him.
What?
Classic. Queen of Cringe Pokimane is back and she has finally responded.
Wait, is it Pokimane pushing 40? Why is she even still relevant? Come on. Make room for the new generation. Make room for the OnlyFans models or something. Like, come on, Pokey. Look, you had your time back in like 2015. It's 10 years now. Please, retire. Give it a rest. Oh my goodness, your cookie brand literally fell off a treadmill. That's how obese your ego is.
To the Sai Kuno drama, seemingly enjoying the downfall of her friend a little.
Like, come on, give me a break. I don't want to hear about her anymore. Like, I'm so tired. No one talks about Pokimane. Maybe I'm more mad that he just ran out. Anyway.
XQC has responded, calling her out for her vague statements supporting victims, reminiscent of her "Believe All Victims" tweet.
I swear, you get to a certain age where people just be posting anything they feel like the whole world actually needs to know it. 31.7 million views. Only 3,000 comments. But 81,000 likes. Oh wait, this was really old. July 2, 2025. So this was last year.
They are going back and forth and she is malding on Twitter and the chaos ensues. Subscribe or you get exposed by an e-ho. Anything but the e-hos.
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin. Right, so Hassan is going viral now for calling half of America terrorists. Very ironic coming from him. Now, quick recap.
Yes. The man willing to blame anyone but himself for making the most acclaim and clickbaity statements to follow the agenda. How wonderful.
Last time we talked about a new Hassan clip surfacing of him threatening Charlie Kirk's life.
I will fuck.
Oh, another thing that was funny, I actually read a comment that said that there was a saying. I'm not going to go into it because I'm no politician and I'm no federal agent, but I'm pretty sure there was a saying that Hassan specifically said that was found engraved on the bullet that Charlie Kirk was killed with. That was what someone said in the last video of this. It was the last video I read in the comment section. I forgot who it was, but that's a little ironic, don't you think?
I want to fucking kill him, dude. I want to kill.
Whoa! In a video game.
I meant, no, he's just not in a
I love how it's friendly. Like, no, my ad revenue.
video game.
Now, despite him threatening
In Minecraft. But no, that's crazy.
to murder capitalists, landlords, senators, and political opponents, despite him supporting several terrorist groups and trying to imply Hezbollah isn't a terrorist org, but rather America as a whole.
Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Dog, if Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, America is the top terrorist organization.
He now somehow has the audacity to call other people terrorists now, and he's talking about Republicans here. Basically, he's on a progressive podcast, and this guy is asking him, is he actually going to finally tell his fan base to vote for the Democrats, or just let Trump win again, the person he literally calls Hitler? Hassan explains his stance on Democrats, and if he'll support candidates like Gavin Newsom, says they should not.
Okay, look, I don't support any political party or any political agenda of any kind because I am not a piece of propaganda for the machine, and I am not here to do that. However, if you're just going to rile people up and then say you want change but proceed to do nothing other than engage in the very same issues that you talk about, then in a way, you're a clown. You just talk. That's why I don't like conspiracy theorists, because they just talk. They don't actually do anything to make change in the world and benefit people. They don't do anything that actually benefits anyone. I don't see conspiracy theorists going out and saying, this whole world's all messed up. We need to do something to fix it. How about we start with actually providing food, water, going out and helping the people rebuild a broken society? No, they want to sit on Reddit and talk about how they're cloud seeding. Quite literally do anything but help the people around you. Just keep talking, just keep yapping, get an audience, get paid from the ad revenue, get paid from sponsors, get paid from people that go on the channel and talk, just get paid, fearmonger the people, rile people up to cause violence among the cities, and just proceed to not help your neighbors and not help people that are around you. And that's why I don't sit and I don't talk about this stuff, is because I know that in my heart, I would want to make change before I start talking bad about a politician. I start talking, fix it. If you don't like something that's being done within your state, your government, especially within the United States, you have the ability to go change it, but people are just too lazy. People just don't want to. And even if it means you can't necessarily have any political power, you don't have a lot of money maybe, the best thing you could do is at least help your neighbor. At least help the people that you care about closest to you. Help your family, help your cousins, help your next door neighbor, help the guy that might be having a rough time. Maybe if you go to a church, or if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, help the people that are around you. Help them. Don't sit and talk about the government and act like you're a brand new politician if you aren't going to sit and do anything beneficial for the people that you are affecting and that you're speaking to an audience to. If you believe that something needs to be done to make change, go out and make change. Stop talking about it. We've been doing this since forever now in my eyes, and people will just do anything but genuinely just help others. That's the main message.
Not take his and the left flank's vote for granted, but still believes Republicans are far more damaging, think the Republicans are the biggest terrorists.
What do you tell people who...
Does it matter? No, let's be serious. Two wings of the same bird are fighting over policies that will not necessarily benefit the people, but benefit themselves in political groups. They don't actually care. If you're going to sit and slander one side, you have to look at the other side too and think, oh, this side is also not doing things that I support. It's just hypocritical.
follow you, who respect you, who happen to live in swing states as we head to 2026 and 2028?
I want the Democratic Party to treat me like a never Trumper. I want the Democratic Party to treat me like a triple Trump voter. Okay.
What? No, that makes zero sense, dude. This guy, whatever kush this guy is smoking right now, I need that. Give me that.
Because it turns out that's all they're tuned into. So if what it takes for the Democrats to turn around and be like, wait a minute, we're losing this guy, we have to win him over again or whatever, instead of just like taking my vote for granted as they've done so over and over again for the left flank, and then, you know, I'm going to say things that may or may not end up being true, but it doesn't matter. We're so far out from the election anyway that it.
So you admit you're just going to lie to your audience? So you think that the Democratic Party would fight for you? Dude, you are out of your mind if you think that the entire Democratic Party is going to fight for you to get you on their side and then proceed to say that, yeah, I'm going to make statements that may or may not be true. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. This guy is actively being hypocritical live while he's saying, yeah, I'm going to go lie to a bunch of people, but then I'm going to lie because I want the Democratic Party to fight for me. Look, at this point, take some lobbyist money and just go run for mayor at your local city. Like, at this point, just go do something. Because what are you saying? This dude's just yap. Who let this unk get a platform, bro?
It's like, I'm just saying, look, now is your opportunity to find a good candidate instead. Because
yeah, they ain't letting you run for Canada. I would. No, there's no way.
But you see,
he's so delusional.
As we get into these, that like after what we've lived through these last years, the stakes and the stark difference between even a Democrat.
Again, I don't support any political party. I would rather directly support the people through and through, providing better medical assistance, better funds, the ability to afford a home, to ability to afford groceries, to ability to live life, to the ability to have any, like, I do not want to be monitored by a system that does not benefit the people. But that's not going to exist because as long as we have corporations, the corporations still need to make money. And at the same time, it's like none of these parties actually care about the people. Like, what happened to people caring about college relief? I'm not going to college. I can't afford it. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford college and then somehow within it, the 60-year span after college that I have, I'm going to be able to afford it. There's no way. There's no way. But we just ignore that and instead consistently want to fight each other for the fact of just fighting. And really, we're just fighting for the corporations so that they can get more profit margins as they specifically make profit off of each generation. That's why when we watched yesterday's broadcast, they were complaining about not having enough kids. It's because there's not enough people to actually buy stuff from the corporate conglomerates. There's not enough people to cause violence so that other people could say, well, it's not our fault, but buy this product or vote for this thing. And it's like, when are we going to stop weaponizing the people against each other and actually create a functioning society to where we care about one another and not have our political beliefs be turned and used against us as psychological war?
Who you and I might find not up to par, to say the least, versus Vance or whoever the fuck they put up.
Of course. I mean, I hate Republicans. I oppose them. I say that all the time. I think that the Republicans are far more damaging, the biggest terrorists.
Okay, I don't know why my quality is super low. I'm stupid right now.
The biggest domestic terrorist in this country, the biggest terrorist internationally is the Republican Party. And not only that, but it's just like I want to fight against the growing fascist movement in this country.
Then do it. This guy has been just yapping.
Right, okay, so first off, probably calling half the country terrorists is not a good idea, like objectively, right?
Look, okay, I don't care that he said that, but if he actually means it, put 10 toes down and do something. Do it. Do it. He won't. He won't do it. Because he just talks. He's a champagne socialist. He just yaps. He just wants to fearmonger people and just rile up his audience. He doesn't want to actually help the people. He doesn't care about the people. He just cares about that money.
Get more people to your side, this is what I don't get, right? If you want to be winning elections, the thing you need to be doing is to find common ground and actually
Thank you. Thank you.
be empathetic, right? What you actually want to do is to try and understand the other side, find sort of common ground there, and hopefully convince them to become whatever you want. In your case, you know, communists and terrorist glazers. But yeah, of course, calling it.
Look, that I don't agree with that whole image of what Pegasus just said, but I do understand the main point of what he was trying to say and finding common ground. In my opinion, the first thing I would be doing if I actually had enough funds of a politician, I wouldn't be running voting campaigns. I wouldn't be running anything just talking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to be actively trying to make connections with people that can help me benefit the people while alongside benefiting companies so that companies don't attack me, that corporate conglomerates don't try to lobby against me, and to make sure I don't get a vote, but I can still increase the profit margins as well as help Americans lower the prices of groceries, lower the prices of homes, fix whatever macroeconomic scale we have when it comes to our debt, and actually benefit the people for 5 seconds instead of fighting with each other and electrocuting my dog.
Everyone a terrorist or domestic terrorist is not a good strategy.
Dirt.
Ow.
Dirt.
The white screen.
I love dirt.
Flashbang.
I'm a dirt nerd.
That's why your food tastes like.
Now at Family Fare, treat yourself to Edie's Ice Cream. Buy 2 get 1 free with card.
And obviously it is objectively false. You cannot be calling half the country terrorists. You can disagree with them, you can call them stupid or their views stupid, and you can even say, in your opinion, that they're destroying the country. But terrorist is different, obviously. And I think this is a little case of projection here because he's very mad that people call him a terrorist glazer, which is objectively true, right? Considering his own words. Now, you can say that, okay, the politicians that are bombing people, maybe there's an argument for that, right? But he's talking about every Republican voter. And that's the problem with Hassan. He's a radical. Just like his buddy Destiny, who gave him his career, who conveniently wants to genocide half the country.
That's
Hassan
wild.
follows in his footsteps and tries to portray everyone as evil, right? There's no nuance there. And
That sounds really familiar. I wonder who that might be a reference to. I don't know. I need to go fix this screen though. Let me real quick put you guys on pause real quick. Because this, I forgot to change OBS. Did it work? Did that actually work? That should work now. There we go. Alright, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's filters. I think it might be. But no, like, what happened with just helping people out? I really don't get it. You know, just being a part of community and actually doing something that just benefits society as a whole. But people just don't want to do that. People just don't want to bother. People just don't want to help each other out. They just want to bicker among themselves and complain when things get hard, and they just don't do anything about it, in my opinion. Like, the entirety of Gen Z is struggling to... Oh, I messed up! Did I? Yeah, I definitely accidentally doxed myself. Anyway, you know, we're just
unnecessary.
gonna...
And all you're doing is taking away revolutionary potential and feeding
this
it
him
back
pivoting
into
to
the
try to seem
Democratic
like a
Party. You're
centrist?
shepherd.
He always
Or not
does this
centrist,
when
but,
he's
like,
mask
middle or-
on. Yes.
Yeah.
When he
Oh, what is going on? Starting stream. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what's happening with my computer. I wonder if it's just too bright or something. Like everything is like grayscale. I do not understand that.
He has best friends that he goes out to eat lunch and dinner with every fucking day who don't ever disclose it, and
That's crazy. Look at this chat. No, this chat is actually insane. These people exist. So I think these guys are making fun of him, but it says Cloud Succubus. Hassan Def had a lot of GFs from another school in high school. What is this dude yapping about? Just say you made Hassan, but also made Zoran, little bro. Destiny Hassan will try to run for office when he is 36. He is trying to cane maker. His policy is not just a media figure. He doesn't care that he arms the candidate.
Reformist, many
Fearless.
to my left, which does
Oh wait, though Hassan, a YouTuber though, not a journalist or anything, has no power.
exist. For those of you out there,
And
there are
it was in a debate, I think. Destiny, he is doing the Aiden Ross strat where he overplays the working relationships and friendship he has with celebrities bigger than him, so he can pressure them into doing
people who are
doing more collabs with them. You know, that actually might be a good point. I never thought of it like that, but that might
further
actually be
to the
valid.
left than me, who will say elections.
Growing his beard to beat the tiny head Alec. Okay, dude. Okay.
Bourgeois elections are unnecessary, and all you're doing is taking away revolutionary potential and feeding
this
it
him
back
pivoting
into
to
the
try to seem
Democratic
like a
Party. You're
centrist?
shepherd-
There was one comment in particular that I saw that was actually crazy to say.
he always
Or not
does this
centrist,
when
but,
he's
like,
mask
middle or-
on.
Liability and more just a
Yes,
righteous.
when he has best friends that he goes
This is the one going around harring all these Democrats with being associated with, and I'm not gonna say that, Dog Shocker, who argues in favor of, and said the U.S. does. Okay, so I thought I thought this guy in the comments was supporting those particular events, but I guess he was just making a point. I
out
read
to
that
eat
completely
lunch and dinner
wrong.
with every fucking day who don't ever disclose it and are always jerking each other off in the background.
Also, speaking of background, what is that? What is that? Like a sword? Is that a? I'm kind of curious. What is that?
They let
I don't
him
know,
come
I
on
don't
our
watch
show
Destiny.
So they can stain wash his reputation by coming on and literally doing
I remember last time he had like all the blue hair and stuff. What happened with that? Does he just not like the blue hair anymore? Is that affecting his brand?
the exact opposite of what he says on his streams. This is the joke that I don't know if you caught this when Dan was saying this, when he's like, "Oh, I just want single-payer healthcare." This is what Hassan does when he's in front of the normie dipshits, like Pop Save America and these other people. As he goes on, he's like, "Oh, I'm just here to vote for I'm just a reformer, guys. Like, I think that we should just."
That's crazy that these two are on the same side of Twitch politics practically, and they're still trying to stab each other in the neck. I'm willing to bet someone on Twitch would have been the biggest candidate in the US that actually would have helped society if people just didn't want to consistently argue with each other to make content. Controversial, I know. If people just stop arguing for 5 seconds and actually make a good point that actually benefits people, then maybe we would have gotten somewhere, but I'm not
make
surprised.
incremental progress and blah blah blah. And then on his own stream, it's like incremental progress is the tool of the capitalist to control you and to make you comfortable with your current environment, and it's to destroy revolutionary potential in America, which is why you can't be content with the two-party duopoly. It's like Jesus Christ, like it's
Or evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time.
How is it that you can vote for Hamas over Israel, but you can't vote for Kamala over Donald Trump? What? That is a crazy statement. Okay, I'm glad that Hassan said that, because I'm sure we're going to spend the next 15 minutes interrogating that statement, right? There's no way that that's just going to fucking sail over this part's head, and he's not
No, it will. It definitely will. Watch.
going to address it at all, right? There's no way, right?
Absolutely hilarious. It's crazy how hypocritical he can be. And this basically exposes him, right? His infamous excuse of, I only support the terrorists because Israel bad, guys. Meanwhile, the evidence literally proves that he does this organically for the love of the game. So then he calls Hassan a cringe lord because he keeps bragging about his secret meetings with Zoran. Destiny calls Hassan clout hungry and inconsiderate.
I even have disagreements with Zoran from time to time. I'll text him some stuff. I'll be like, yo, check this
Oh
out.
my god, it's so cringe. It's so transparently cringe too. Holy shit. Oh, you can also tell how like you can tell how inconsiderate he is of all the people that he's associated with too. Like you can talk to any politician or any large campaign, anybody that I've associated with or affiliated with or not, like anybody that I've worked with, like all of my conversations come with a heavy, like, what is the optimal way to move for your campaign so that I'm not like a liability? Because there's always something that I'm like aware of, like how, what is a way that I can be associated or affiliated with this or help with this without being a liability to your whatever it is that you're doing. The idea that Hassan is like so fucking cloud obsessed that he has to attach himself to fucking everything without a fucking care in the world about how it might impact another person's campaign. The fact that
Chat, I would want to actually do a Twitch-sponsored political debate and just be in the same room as these people and just see who would win, just for giggle and fun. Because I'm willing to bet if I actually took time out of my day to be like, okay, let's role play. You're a politician and you have to make a voting campaign or whatever that would help your viewers, or just something random, like a random Mr. Beast challenge. I'm not going to sit here and say that I would make points that would demolish them, or I would mog them in chat or something like that. I would probably be making points that would be like, hey, how about we offer this to the people? How about we do this for the people and we give the companies their space while we give the people what they need? These two would just be arguing about cringe and about whatever they're talking about here. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I would be sitting there like, yeah, so this is the plan. This is what we would need to do, X, Y, Z. And these two children would just be bickering with each other. Like, I just want to see a point in the argument to where their mothers come in and goes, okay, Hassan, it's time to go to bed. It's like, dude.
like right now,
What's
he's
even his
texting all the time.
content?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'm
what-
texting Zoran every single day. Yeah.
Is he actually a political streamer, or is he just LARPing to be a political streamer? I don't think he even understands the basis of what it is to be someone that benefits and supports a community.
We talk all the time. Like, why? Like, it's like there's zero consideration for the people around him. It's just like a clout opportunity to jump.
And he's just talking so fast. Like, how much caffeine did you have?
Name drop for him.
Yeah, it's so cringe. Holy
Dude talks like he's so anxious, and for what?
Yeah, the Omega narcissist. You think he gives a shit? He just wants to up his reputation. He does not give a shit about the party or actually enacting any meaningful change in America. He's
On the nail on the head. Nail on the head is exactly, this was exactly what I was just talking about for the entire duration. Literally nailed it.
And totally self-motivated, right? And he just does this for his PR. He wants to be like, hey guys, I'm good in with the New York mayor, right? I'm such a big deal. All these politicians like me. But every time he makes these statements, it just looks more desperate and pathetic, right? Oh yeah, I'm totally texting him behind the scenes. Okay, Hassan. My girlfriend goes to another school. Also, you're unironically ruining their reputation because...
Wait. This guy is dating a minor? What do you mean, another school? What does that mean, Pegasus?
any politician that collabs with Hassan is not to be trusted, right?
What was that supposed to mean? Like a college?
Hey guys, forget all you know about AI video. It's so over. And we have the new AI video model that
She's
is
not even real. She's
dominating the
AI.
industry.
She's AI. Don't
Because
believe
they
her. She's not
likely
real, chat.
are agreeing
Nightmare.
with his views. Moving on to massive updates to the Sai Kuno situation. Apparently, a new victim has come forward with her story. and she talks about some really intimate encounters with Saikuno in a hotel room, apparently finishing inside her, and it implies it's like some essay type situation. New Saikuno victim comes forward saying he finished in her without protection in Evo Las Vegas hotel room.
I don't sleep with anyone that I'm not dating. And it didn't happen that night.
What?
I didn't want it to happen. So instead, I just gave him oral. Okay? I just... And
Got
then
it.
when he fell asleep, I got out of bed and I just ate a banana and I was just staring out the window. I was
second time.
dissociating. I think I was straight up just dissociating. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? What just happened? And then in the morning, he ends
I
up
can't
hugging
remember.
me,
Okay, he hugs you. Uh-huh.
but then pushes me onto the bed
Yeah.
from the hug.
Mhm.
And we end up having sex.
We end up having sex. It's crazy that you're using this level of ambiguity. Either it was consensual or it wasn't. If it wasn't consensual, then he raped you. If it was consensual, then you regret it. This weird, like,
I'm not going to say anything about this personally because I've had a former friend that pulled something like this on me. And I'm not saying that any one of these two people are right. But I definitely have an opinion, but I'm not going to sit and share it. I'm pretty sure Asmon's going to share his opinion about it. But I've had too many people, and especially my most recent friend being my manager that made a similar statement like this about another customer. People just lie for the love of the game. I'm just going to say it like that. But again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. And if this is true, I don't want to necessarily disassociate from the fact that this is true. And I'm willing to bet she made a police report, and I'm willing to bet that there's a criminal investigation going on, and that everyone's innocent until proven guilty, and everyone is going to be held accountable. I hope. That's what I at least think. But again, I'm not a woman. I'm not going to really get too much into that sector.
you know, uncertainty about things. I have, this is a big problem to me. I think this is a huge problem.
I didn't have it in me to tell him to stop.
Okay.
So I just let it happen.
Okay.
And while this was happening, while we were doing it, I always wear protection, and I only sleep with people I'm in relationship with. So
Right.
I'm not used to one-night stands or anything like that. But we were not using protection, and I'm legally hard of hearing, if you guys don't know already. But in the heat of the moment, he asked me if it was safe, and I didn't hear him. But
Asmon Gold live, failing to comprehend a sentence. Pure silence. He's speaking sign language right now, Chad. Give him a minute.
Are you kidding me? Are you? Oh my god. What is this? He literally asked her. Oh my god.
I just...
I don't know. That part might actually be admissible in court. I think that part might be. If this ends up being a full thing, so either the prosecution or the defense is definitely going to bring that part in the video up.
said, and he finished inside of me, and then that was it.
Bro, what the actual fuck?
This is wild.
just
This is wild. Like, this is wild journalism by Pegasus. What is it with YouTube journalists that are just insane with these stories?
Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? This is disgusting, all right? This is the worst accuser so far. So, you admitted he asked you for consent, right? You said, you know, gave him consent, and now you're like, oh no, I don't, I'm actually an innocent queen here. I don't sleep with people who I'm not in a relationship. I'm not a hoe. I'm a good girl. I don't do one night stands. And he, I guess the implication is he sort of manipulated you or
Sorry, I just
potentially
had to tell my dad to drive safe and have a good one. He's just gonna go out and barbecue with some friends.
say to you is the implication, because why would you talk about him finishing in you and then say that, oh, I didn't hear, right? The implication.
Wait. Oh no, that's so bad. No, you can't just say it like that.
Is that he graped you or something like that, right? Which is absolutely insane considering he asked you and you gave consent and now you just regret it. You were basically hoeing around and now you regret your hoe tendencies, your hoe mistakes. And now you've decided that, okay, these people are coming out. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. I'm going to try to completely ruin his life. And this is absolutely deplorable behavior, okay? This is the worst one so far. This is absolutely crazy because she's accusing him of something criminal without any proof. In fact, the proof is the opposite because she's explicitly saying that, hey, no, he was actually great. He asked me and he asked me every step.
Again, I'm not really gonna speak on it of my full opinion about this story since I'm not a woman. I'm like, there are so many factors that go into it. And I've been around people, again, that have made accusations that have been true and have not been true. And I've found out about them one way or the other. And they haven't been against me, but they definitely been with other people that I were familiar with. And again, if this is even an ounce true, an ounce, this still is a thing to where if they genuinely feel that way, this will automatically be a police report. This will automatically be an open investigation through and through, 100%. And like, even then, like, I can only make assumptions from this point, but I'm not going to speak on it again since I'm just not a woman.
The way and all that.
I have been in a familiar predicament, but it is not to the degree of being comparable. Because crimes committed against men and crime committed against women are two different types of crimes. And they have completely different levels of consequences and aggravations as well as intentions. That's why I don't particularly go down the route of saying that the victim is wrong and this person's wrong. Because again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a police officer. I don't know until the detectives and the prosecution and the defense pull out the files and say, this was found at the scene. This was found on file. This was found here. And actually lay out all the evidence.
So this has just gone too far. So then she reveals why she's actually mad, and it's because he lied about having a girlfriend, which is, you know, bad. He you know, he's a scumbag for that. But then why bring up him finishing in you, which is like,
everyone's innocent until proven guilty. That's all I'm gonna say.
that's just weird. I feel like he's obviously lame for lying, and he's a playboy and a scumbag. And even personally, I find it morally pretty bad and shit like that. But now you're implying some weird criminal shit.
Oh my god.
I just said, and he finished inside of me, and then that was it. And then,
well, okay.
we just laid there for a little bit, and then I brought it up. I asked him straight up.
Yeah.
When was your last relationship? And do you sleep around often? Like, is this normal for you? Because I told him straight up, I do not date with people. I do not sleep with people I do not date.
Wait, so why were you two in the same bed then? Again, like, questions I cannot answer, you know, like, I guess I'm missing context. I'm missing more context. I need, like, background.
She's framing her own, like, her own supposed moral guideline as an implication that he did something wrong. This is actually probably the worst one of these videos that I've ever seen in my life. a person being deceitful and a person lying about their relationship status is not even in the spectrum of sexual assault. It's nowhere. It's mean, it's wrong, it's awful. He shouldn't have done it. He's a piece of shit for doing it. But do not even try to imply that it was not consensual.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. Like, these so-called victims now are absolutely out of line. The fact that he asked her, he got consent, and then she goes that, oh, you didn't hear.
Again, it's such a hard thing for me to talk about, again, for just experience sake. But again, let the investigation unfold itself. Like, put the evidence on the table. I want to see documents. I want to see samples. I want to see files. I want to see statements. I want to see all of that. Let's get to the point, put the papers down, put the money where the mouth is, and, like, again, innocent until proven guilty. On both parties, defense and prosecution. End of story, in my opinion.
So, wait, again, one more thing. If you didn't hear, then how do you know what he said? Like, nothing about this story adds up at all. And I can't believe it. She's essentially admitting that this is another case of her being mad that she ain't the main chick, right? Because she says, oh, I only sleep with people who, you know, I'm in a long-term relationship with, which is a lie, considering you just slept with this dude, this famous e-celeb or whatever, because you were obviously excited. Oh my god, this guy's showing me attention. He's rich and famous. Oh my god, I'm the special girl here. And you decided to compromise your morals, and now you're mad about it because you got played. Also, story aside, what the fuck is up with Saikuno, bro? He's up in everybody.
That face, ain't no way.
Like, bro, how many hoes does he be effing?
The Kung Fu Panda? Ain't no way we got the Kung Fu Panda pose.
Bruh, holy Omega double life. Like, how did you have time to do this while playing Among Us? Like, bro is doing this shit like it's his full-time job. And to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Saikuno started suing some of these people, because stuff like this can completely ruin your life, right?
No, Saikuno won't be able to get away with it. He may have enough money, he may be able to skim by his teeth a lawyer, but ain't no way he's getting away with it. I'm just saying that right now. Ain't no way he's going to be able to get away with it, because there's going to be so much backlash. Too much backlash to the point of there's no point of going back.
And the way they're describing these stories is in a way that the public could interpret it as some sort of essay happening and him being way worse than just a cheater and a playboy, right? They're using terms like predator. They're using terms like, they're describing the intimate details of the essay. They're completely embarrassing him, ruining his reputation. And that's beyond the cheating stuff, of course, right? While simultaneously admitting that he got permission and it was a consensual encounter between two adults, right? So if lawsuits start flying, I'm just saying, I called it, you know?
Because she's trying to use stolen valor from regretful sex and reframe it as if there was something that was non-consensual about it.
Again, 5.7 million views as well. Like, talk to a lawyer. You should have, again, with this being true, you should have talked to a lawyer before posting a video about this.
Very new to me. I've never had a one-night stand or anything like that. So I asked him, I'm like, is this normal for you? Like, do you sleep around a lot? And he said,
and
no.
Here's the problem is, like, the other girls, what they're accusing him of is just being a fuckboy, being a cheater, being an ass, being a liar, being a piece of shit, right? Like, and I don't have a problem with him getting exposed for that. But the moment that you start talking about actual real sexual encounters and you start framing them in a way that makes him look like he did something wrong in that circumstance, like, that is the difference between being in jail versus people on Twitter being mad at you. This is a huge difference. I mean, this is
he
just...
He was sorry that he gave me that
one more
impression.
minute. I'll watch the rest of it.
And that he would want to reconcile. And me being the dumbass I am,
Reconcile.
I still wanted to be friends with him for some reason. So I did. And that's why we still play.
It's not for some reason. It's because he's a popular, really well-known guy. I mean, would a girl that
had sex with a guy that she thinks lied to her. Like, let's make some sense out of this, right? Like, why would a girl have sex, want to continue being friends with a guy that she thought did that to her? You want him to be your boyfriend? Yeah, because she's still like, that's what I think happened.
Bro, there's no way. So you still wanted to be friends with him, huh? So even the other girl who exposed him was like, you're a scumbag and a piece of shit for cheating on your girlfriend. But you can still talk to me, though. You can still, I want to be your main chick. You're rich and famous. I still love you, though. You're a scumbag for cheating on her. But I'm just using it as leverage so you can get with me, right? Bro, what is going on? These girls are so thirsty for his schlong. It's actually nuts, bro. I mean, this is just
Okay.
another case of EHO activities, right?
Calm down, Pegasus. Chill out. Let's chill out with all that, Pegasus. And what is that photo?
You're famous, girls just sort of lose their mind. I mean, there's no other explanation here. It's pure clout-hungry desire. Oh, I want to be chosen. Oh, this guy has all these fans, big YouTuber, streamer, special. All these girls are thirsting after him, but he's choosing me. Except you're wrong. He was choosing about 500.
Ew. Ew, dude. Discord mod energy.
People, basically anybody who lacked the self-respect and the dignity to say no to an e-celeb, right? Basically anybody who would give it up on the first fucking night, agree to get flown out to an hotel, which is obviously fucking going to be like a sexual encounter, right? You know, I didn't play the full 12-minute video there, but basically she was saying stuff like, oh yeah, I just wanted to go to a hotel with this guy, and I didn't know we were gonna sleep together. But then I decided to get down and suck his pee-pee, and then let him finish inside me, which is like, bro, crazy shit. If it was just the cheating thing, Sykkuno would have been completely done, and he still might be. But the fact that there's so many false allegations going around, he might actually get support now. He might actually get support despite being a complete scumbag.
No, he's not getting support. There's no way I would support this dude. There's no way. There's no way.
Who was essentially lying about his persona all this time. Right, the tweet got community noted. It was intercourse between two consenting adults as she gave him verbal consent. This was not assault as consent was given, and her not being able to voice out her thoughts after is not Sykkuno's fault. What the frick is this clip? She didn't consent to him milking inside her. Yeah, you're a Rhaegar. So many pathetic.
Okay, dude, we can't just start slandering people in the comment section because we just don't share the same opinion. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Chill out.
Rapists in these comments. If y'all ever wonder why y'all don't have love in your lives, it's because of the dumb shit you say here. It's so sad and pathetic.
Jeez. Dude. What happened with Twitter? I remember back in the day where Twitter is just a place to where you just be posting about like random, like, yo, I put the fork in the microwave when I made a nuclear atom. Like, what happened to that type of Twitter?
Pathetic. 60 replies, what a moron. Kind of disappointing to see people hating on victims more than the perpetrator. 17 replies. She got manipulated and pressured into it. Yeah, manipulated into sucking his pee-pee. Yeah, sure. Ice Poseidon. This dude's a freaking alpha Chad. Finishing inside on a first hookup, then kicking her to the curb. I'm judging the girl way more for even allowing him to do that without any effort towards her. Low IQ girl indeed.
Okay, like, again, this is just not a way, like, dudes be out here acting like, man, why am I single? Why can't I get a girlfriend? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And then they just do this shit on the internet. Basically, pretty, like, dude, ever since Dan Bilzerian and Andrew Tate, bro, he had dudes by the balls. Like, there has been no dude ever since that has just been chivalrous for 5 minutes and kept any sort of dignity.
Bro, he had unlimited access to all these pathetic, desperate women who were willing to give it up instantly, right? I effed him, but I didn't get any clout, so now I'm coming for my clout. I shared a hotel room with him, but didn't know he had other intentions. Is she stupid or what? No, she obviously knew, bro. It's like they play innocent after the fact because she wants to fall into the story of being this victim or whatever. It's so gross. It's so gross. Women are not children. This guy's riz must be studied. How did he go from this to banging every VTuber on the planet? Move over, clavicular. We got a new chat in town. And the funniest thing is that he did it in the opposite way. Instead of being like this explicit alpha Chad, he was the opposite, timid beta boy or whatever, but he was actually a secret male feminist type, right? I was like, oh yeah, the girls
So performative male, you mean? That's quite the definition of performative male.
don't even like me, bro. Just like, I'm a safe space for girls. Now just come over to my hotel room and I'll show you how safe I really am. I'm a fucking degenerate, bro. I don't usually have one night stands, but when I do, I'm the victim. The old, I consented, but months later changed my mind. I always use protection. I never sleep with anyone I'm not dating. You did both. Yeah, I'm just not buying that. I'm just not buying that. Like, you either had a severe lapse in judgment and you're having one again here now, or two, you have a tendency to do these things, let's be honest. Moving on to Queen of Cringe, Pokimane.
boy.
She has finally responded to the Saikuno drama.
Why is she even involved?
We're obviously all...
The savings
Ow,
add up at
no
Family
flashbang
Fare.
on my
With
screen.
card, take home boneless New York strip steak, $11.99 a pound with digital coupon.
SpongeBob
Dying
deep
to
fried
hear
on
her
the
opinion
stream.
on this, said no one ever in the history of the universe, and she apparently started a beef with XQC from this.
Of course, everybody's be beefing with SQC. Give it a break.
Pokimane addresses the Saikuno situation. I'm stressing about it so much. It is really all about you, isn't it?
We could just get it over with, okay? Stop making me laugh. Stop laughing, because when you guys laugh, I laugh.
No one's making you laugh. What was so funny about a possible, like, yeah, there's no way. Yeah, let's laugh about your friend being an aggressive lover boy / playboy, and just for you to get a little bit of clout on Twitter, dude. Like, it is ruthless. Ruthless.
Okay.
It's the fakest laugh of my life.
It's okay. We can just get it out of the way. All right? Of course, before streaming today, I expected a lot of people in the chat asking me to talk about the Saikuno situation. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about it. I was like, how can I say something that feels honest to me but doesn't get clipped out of context?
If you're more worried about getting things clipped out of context than being honest, that already tells me everything I need to know, but let's just keep going.
I was really stressing about it, and then
You shouldn't, because it's not you.
I realized, like, I'm stressing about it so much, and Saikuno hasn't even said anything yet. And something about that, like, didn't really sit right with me. But I do want to reiterate, it's just so sad and disappointing how often this kind of thing seems to happen.
Yeah, but, like, what happened to the victims? Like, are the victims okay? Are they... Not necessarily, I'm not gonna say, like, get the attention, but, like, get the care, like, hey, what did, like, is this an active investigation? Is this something that will be looked into? Like, because I haven't heard anything about any sort of investigation to say, yep, Saikuno did XYZ, he is getting banned from Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and these girls are under care, they're given resources that they need, and they are in better shape. No one has asked any questions about who these victims are, what the intent of the victims were, allegedly, and if they need actual care. But no one wants to talk about that. Why? Because it's not fancy on the clips. It's not clippy enough for Pokimane to post. Let's just ignore all the victims, but put more attention on the perpetrator, giving him more clout.
Especially when it comes from people that you don't expect it to come from.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Actually, I'm not. Nobody is mad that I interrupted Pokimane. F this bleh. But dude, is it...
Again, can we chill out? Can we chill out? It's not that deep.
Is it just me, or did she do the fake voice again?
As I'm actively crashing out on a stream.
Are you kidding me? Like, she always does this. Anytime she has to, like, address the public or give a sort of response, she changes her pitch. It's like this reflexive thing she does.
I swear, she does like the HR voice, though. I do get what he means. He's like, she gives you the HR, I'm about to fire you voice. It's giving toxic energy. That's what I'm gonna say.
Fucking fake ass neurons activated, and they're like, oh yeah, let's talk in the innocent Pokey voice. You're a 30-year-old woman. Like, nobody's buying the innocent act here. Also, why is she so happy? She's like constantly giggling at this happening. You'd think she'd be upset
She's uncomfortable. She's extremely uncomfortable, I can tell.
at her friend getting exposed and, oh my god, this person being this fake person all this time. But I think she's happy. Honestly, I think she's happy anytime any man gets exposed because she's a legit misandrist, right? I mean, she was literally apologizing for supporting Johnny Depp in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, even after the whole court proceedings finished. And obviously she had that statement she made on the Lily Pichu podcast where she literally admits that she's actually just sexist.
Is it bad to be
That's kind of crazy, but
biased towards women, or is that like undoing history? Is that like recycling, like cleaning up litter?
I have no idea what was funny about that.
Yeah, so I think she's really loving this too much, and
Look, like, if she's a lesbian, there's not a problem with her being lesbian, but don't sit there and slander men that haven't really engaged with you at all. Like, I haven't heard anything over my time of my entire lifetime on the internet. Anything bad that even correlates to what Sykkuno did happening to her. I actually thought she was originally a lesbian, but apparently not. You know, like, look, it's okay to be a lesbian. There's no problem with you being gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever you want to be. You should have the ability to be that. But don't sit and slander other people and make fun of them and prey on their downfall when they haven't even done the same for you.
you know, she's given these sort of like vague responses, not really
This is honestly, it's honestly giving narcissist energy. It's giving highly narcissistic levels of energy.
clarifying whether she supports the predator allegations. It's just like, believe all victims, believe all victims.
Okay, I mean, that's not a bad statement to say, but again, that's a very misleading statement. I would have said something similar, but I would have said it on the lines of innocent until proven guilty. That's it.
Pokey. I'm Pokey, the queen of PR.
Pokemon is the Trump / Kamala of Twitch, in my opinion.
And I think what I really want to say is I am just so sorry for all the hurt that's been caused to the victims, to our communities. I feel everyone's hurt and shock and confusion, and I'm right there with ya. I really try so hard to make my channel a safe space for everybody.
Okay, that's stepping a little bit further than what it needs to be, because your channel is definitely not safe, but we won't talk about that.
And I really hope the people that do need to speak up will. And hopefully that's enough addressing it. But I do appreciate how kind everyone.
What is so funny about this? Well, what's so funny, Pokey? What's so funny about your best friend being caught in some quite serious allegations, mind you? And you're just laughing. It's because this is going to get so many clips for your channel. You're going to get so much more popularity and so much more Google searches. Oh my goodness. You are acting. You're so fake. You don't care about the victims at all. You just want the views. You just have this streamer main character personality, and it actually pisses me off because you don't actually care about the victims at all. You don't even care about your friend. You don't even care about defending a side. You do not care. You just want to be involved because it's about you. Anything you can get clips off, it's just you. Holy. She doesn't even fight for women or men. She doesn't fight for anyone. She just fights for herself.
Everyone in the chat has been. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for your money. Thank you for your money and the Google and the views and the engagement that I'm getting right now for talking about a controversy that involves my friend in some serious federal crimes. Possibly, allegedly.
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? She is so happy. It's like you would think it's her birthday. It's actually insane. She can't even contain it. She's jubilant. She really ended that clip going, ah. That's how I sound after a hot shower. I'm like, oh wow, that was just great, you know? And like the audacity, you're literally the fakest person of them all. I wouldn't be
Again, nail on the head.
surprised if you had double the skeletons of Saikuno. Except I feel like the difference is that everybody already knows you're fake. Saikuno actually managed to hide it, right? And she really goes, you know, I try to make this a safe space for everybody. Except men. You don't really like men, considering you admit
I would argue it's not even a safe space for women, but again, I'm not a woman, so what do I know?
to being biased against them. And that thing she said of like, oh, I hope the people will speak up or whatever. It's the most vague, non-response bullshit thing there is. And essentially what she's doing is she's encouraging anybody else to come out with their story as well and basically pile on to Saikuno, right? Regardless of if it's actually warranted or not. Because now we have all these other idiots who are becoming opportunists.
That might be a stretch.
Right?
That might be a stretch on Pegasus.
He finished inside me with consent. But he did it, and I don't usually have one-night stands, except he didn't force you to. You are just a horny hoe, and you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. Pure responded,
That might be a stretch on his behalf. That might be a stretch.
Saikuno, his consensual frick with people called a predator. Her friends, adults sleeping with 16-year-old guys, says nothing. Fake-ass bra, this is why people hate you. Back down here, the only victims are his girlfriend for being cheated on, and Saikuno for false accused of labeling him a rapist and predator. Shut the frick up, you performative bit. Victims, and they're just adults consensually flirting. Poke him in the mirror, get in there, and make it about you. I was so stressed over the situation. Right, so then XQC responds, and he gets in a beef with her.
But I do want to reiterate, it's just so sad and disappointing.
If his girlfriend didn't say anything, right, and they didn't say anything, why the fuck does everybody feel like they are owed a response and they're owed something out of the two only involved parties? Now, riddle me this, riddle me that.
Excuse me. What do you mean this? What do you mean that?
In this story, two adults are having a potential problem that's being told by a third and fourth party, right? And we're being gaslit in real time that the guy has to spill the beans about what's going on in what we think is a problem, what we think is happening, but we can't confirm. Now, please be vocal that who are the victims and what are they a victim of? Boom. Boom. Because there's an S, right? So clearly there's multiple victims. Now, what I want to know is who are the victims and what are they victims of?
Listen, in my opinion, I feel like there are victims, but it needs to be clarified that it's victims of like cheating. You know, he lied to these girls, telling them, oh, he wasn't in a relationship.
Look, if you really want to press Saikuno, I would say he could technically be investigated for misleading as well as engaging. I mean, it depends on the age, I guess. It also depends. I don't know the actual law, so to speak, so this is not lawyer advice. But they can definitely stretch it to have him say he was grooming and love bombing, which is emotional abuse, which can be investigated into. I don't know what legality of crime it would be because it depends, again, on the age. But if these people are in the victim and the defendant in this case are the same age, this can definitely be something extremely serious, and it already is. But I think they're kind of glazing over the fact that, oh yeah, these people were cheated on and they're upset. I think we're also overlooking the original crime that was committed by Saikuno, and we're kind of ignoring it because these two videos are out and we're more focused on the nit and grit of the lie, so to speak, allegedly. But we aren't looking at what Saikuno is doing and how serious it might be, because this is only, from what I understand, the peak of the story. This is only the stuff they found out, and there probably is going to be more stuff coming out through the week, or it's just going to die out within the week.
So he kind of baited them, right? So I would say that they're victims of his lying or his manipulation, but I really hate like the vague posting, right? She obviously needs to be more clear with it.
It's virtual signaling. It's just virtual signaling on her part, and she knows what she's
Because
doing.
right now, people are out there calling him a predator. So she's obviously got to be more clear with any statements here. And I just find it insane that these people were so close, right? They were buddy-buddy all these years, and that's all you got. Nothing more to say. Always just trying to save your own reputation, your own career, worrying how you're perceived to the audience, making sure you're cutting off the poisonous Hydra head, right? Because these were all a group of friends, and like, oh no, he's affecting my clout right now. Cut him off. Like, they can never speak from the heart or tell a real story, like something about, how did you know this guy on the day-to-day or something like that. But you can't expect any bit of like fucking human response from these people. They're just a bunch of snakes. Because Pokemon doesn't care about the victims. Her Twitter response to XCC proves that. It's about being performative and looking righteous so she can stay relevant to QT's crowd. Right, so XCC tweeted this: who are the victims? Please elaborate on the victims of what, Pokemon? And it got like 30k likes. Only victims are his girlfriend and Sykkuno. I'd say, some other girls could be the victims, but they're not the same type of victim. They're different victims in different ways. I mean, you can be the victim of lying, I guess, or manipulation, whatever. Okay, WestJet here. LA streamer cabal shaking in their boots right now. True. Also, you need to get off Twitter, man. It's complete brain rot. So then Pokey responds, you realize that people can be victims of cheating, right?
Okay, but that's not the question. The question is, who were the victims? And just elaborate. It's a genuinely valid question that you could have answered, like, hey, these are the victims. These are the people that actually got mistreated and misused. But then you just parry that with a completely different statement, acting like this is an act of aggression. It's a genuine, valid question that you are ignoring to answer now.
He responded, using lingo that's used for predators, groomers, and pedos for a cheater is kind of crazy. Just because that's context you hear it in doesn't mean it's the only one. And she links the definition of victim. Except you said victims, which is plural, which implies multiple. Clearly there's more than one girl he's speaking to and likely thought that they were exclusive. Y'all are fighting over semantics when there's a larger problem.
She isn't even answering the original question. She wants to start up an argument so that the argument washes her inability to actually care.
Here. Ironically, I'm the victim of Pokemon's toxic social comprehension. Listen, I don't really care about the word victim, okay? It's just a matter of interpretation, obviously. I think the main take...
I actually disagree. It's not a matter of interpretation. It's the matter of actual legal ramification and qualifications of who was a victim of a crime, and if the alleged, I should say, aggressor in this should be charged with a misdemeanor felony. And should they go to jail, or should they have a sentence that is more severe, matching the crime to the punishment? Claiming people are a victim in a legal sense is a very serious thing, and we just use it like it's nothing else. And people really have forgotten the fact that, again, the victims are hurting, and the aggressor's getting away with it. What type of action will the people take to actually do something and not let people get away with this? Nothing, because they just want to care about themselves and my ego, my brand, and this is my virtual signaling of what's going on, and they don't care. They just want to make it about them.
Away here is how unbelievably fake these goody two-shoes streamers are, right? Anyone who...
And the worst part is Sykkuno might actually get away with it. And he won't ever be questioned thoroughly about what happened. And the victims won't actually get care they need if they need the care.
Tries to portray to their audience that they're the most innocent person in the entire world. They're like, they do no wrong. They're not edgy at all. They're perfectly PR. They're as progressive as humanly possible, and behind the scenes, there's some fucking weird F-boy, horny gooner, Pokemon, fake buh. It's like, every time, these are not real people. Now click this video, or you suffer the fate of
Alright, well that was the news. And that's also why I don't watch real news in general, is because I get way too passionate. I kind of crashed out for no reason. Moving on, let's look at the architecture. Actually, no, let's go into Shoe on Head. I saw something that Smuggalana did that I actually really liked, and I wanted to see if I could actually find something similar kind of to that. Not to say to like copy or content, but there was something about like men and just not being in a good state of mind and like having a biological. I wonder if I can find it in this one, but let's just look.
Join Planet Fitness for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal extended to April 16th.
And yes, I was inspired by Smuggalana, the VTuber. Check her out on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I really enjoy her content, and that's actually why I started kind of doing reaction content, because I actually saw Demi and I saw Smuggalana doing this type of content, and I don't want to necessarily copy them in that sense, because it's unoriginal in my opinion, but I'll do my best to not step on their shoes by accident.
Friends, and happy Halloween. This Halloween, I have decided
This is also really old. It's like a couple months.
dress up as the scary.
Can I actually? I wonder if there was a clip. TikTok trad wife. Damn it! What was the most recent? Let me go. Yeah, it was this one. It was this clip.
Bro, I swear to God, in my 20s, I never wanted a kid. Now it's all I can think about. Ah, yes, the male biological clock. It's not physical, but spiritual.
Men will deny this, but they absolutely have a biological clock. It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes with your wife in the morning.
Oh
and
my
you're
God.
not going to be able to get it out of your head.
Oh my God. Bro, I swear.
Yeah, I actually do not disagree with this. Again, I'm also 19. I've had 2 girlfriends that okay, let me say it like this. I, back then, in high school, was not comfortable with the idea of having kids. But I was given signals from my girlfriend. For example, one of them was a situationship and one of them was an actual girlfriend. But it's like, like when your girl will ask you, hey babe, will you love me if I was a worm? It was like one of those questions, but it was like, hey, what do you think we'll be when we grow up? And I was like, well, I hope we're in a happy, stable relationship and we can care for each other. It's like, yeah, but how about the kids? I'm like, kids? What are you talking about, kids? I actually was so worried that I actually went to her friend and I was like, does she like talk about this often? Like, does she want? Keep in mind, I'm like 17, so I didn't know. She ended up not liking me after I went up to her friend to start talking about like, hey, is this normal? Like, how do I break it to her that I don't actually want to be in like a full-on relationship like that? I just want to take it slow. They got really upset with me. I guess the original girl, not the girl I talked to, because she was fine with me, I guess. Like, she didn't understand why the other girl hated me. But point being, I was like, yeah, you're being really weird. I don't want to be in a relationship. And then after I graduated high school, so around 18, I actually dated another girl, and not the same thing happened, but it was more like she was a caretaker and she really wanted kids. And I kind of thought about it. Now, we more did like an e-date thing, and it wasn't like a Discord thing. It was more like, yeah, we talked often. I knew what she looked like. She lived right next to the state I live in, so I could really go see her anytime I wanted to, but just didn't really have the time and it didn't really make it. And it was already like, with how much proof there was of her, there was no way this person was fake or AI, because already like there was just too much evidence to state that it was an actual woman. It was like an actual person. I know I will admit, most people did make fun of me, like, yeah, dude, you're getting baited so hard, but like it lasted for 9 months. And it was like, I will admit, like, if you laugh at me for that, I totally get it, because it was so bad. But it was like, at the same time, it wasn't horrible. Like, I just met her online. I met her on a game of Fortnite. That was the crazy part that I still can't get over with, and I still punched myself in the gut for that. It was so stupid, but no, like, I was like 19 thinking, like, I had a dream about having kids. Like, in the dream, I had 4 kids. And two of them were girls, 2 of them were boys. And I woke up in just cold sweat disarray. And keep in mind, I'm 19. And I was like worried. Like, I did not know how to really respond to that. I didn't even talk to my dad about it, because I usually talk to my dad a lot. I did not say anything to him, because I just didn't know how to explain it to him. Like, I do agree with this statement, though. Also, this guy has been commenting on almost every single post that we've seen.
Swear to God, in my 20s, I never wanted a kid.
But that's kind of the thing I just wanted to say. Like, yeah, it's definitely a true thing. But I don't consider it a biological clock. I more consider it a biological paranoia that men have. That's what I think it is. I think it's more of a thing of... Oh, didn't mean to do that. It's a thing of men being in touch with themselves, so to speak, and wanting to be a better person and have those traditional values. But the problem is that they confuse those traditional values as being something of today, when it's in reality a figment of imagination. We live in 2026. The traditional family doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. And that's why I hate people that go on these podcasts like Fresh and Fit, Marlon, whoever his boyfriend is or whatever that is, talking about trad wife and she needs to be in the kitchen. Like, that wasn't even a thing. That was just a false misconception made in the 60s from the 40s. And it just doesn't add up. Like, let's go into like dating archetypes. I do not have a particular preference when it comes to women. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem if you're Democratic or if you're Republican and you have those traditional values. Great. I respect them, because you're a human being that has the right of having opinions that are respected, no matter how far-fetched they may seem, because there's a particular reason why you agree and disagree with opinions and facts and things like that. But I'm not going to sit and start slandering you and disrespecting you. And for me, being in my lifetime too, like, it's crazy how much society will judge people, but they can't judge themselves in the mirror. And it's like, I have been friends with lesbians. I've been friends with people that are gay, people that are not the same gender, people that have very different opinions about me, that have various different types of lifestyles. And it doesn't make sense for me to sit and slander those people, because each person has their own right to their own opinion for a reason. And people should have the freedom to express themselves without being judged. People should have the freedom and ability to live in a world to where you can say something outlandish and people are going to criticize you for that, but I'm not going to be that person, because you are still a human being. And at the end of the day, you matter. And there will be a point in time to where there definitely will be something that someone says that I will definitely not agree with, and I will want to disassociate from that person. However, the majority of opinions are not something that does that. Like, I only had one person might have done that a while ago, and it was pretty bad. Like, it was pretty bad. Like, I'm not even gonna say it, but it was pretty bad. And I'm like, okay, look, no, you can't be saying that, and I can't be around you. And I've like completely had to disassociate with them. But majority of the times, people will make opinions and statements that really do not bother me that much. Really do not bother me. But I actually was interested in watching this.
All right, this week, raspberries, Greek yogurt.
Cover your wheat for less. It's an Aldi thing.
If you have tried multiple oral antidepressants,
Trying to pull off a big city in a video game is a pretty monumental task, with a ton of time, resources, and money required to pull it off, as players are always going to expect it to be believable, immersive, and to support the stories and gameplay they come to expect from the game. And this is something that Cyberpunk 2077, Star Citizen, and Starfield have all tried to do, albeit with wildly different scope, focus and general levels of completion. Hey guys, Morphologist here, architect by day and YouTuber by night, and I wanted to take you guys on a little trip to 3 of my favorite game cities to compare them and see what they do best, and importantly, how scope can drastically affect and influence the way a virtual city is realized. My aim here is to highlight what makes a good virtual city and to identify the shortcomings that they have more accurately. So in a moment, I'm going to compare a city from each game on what key features I see are most important, like the master plan, public spaces, gameplay experience, transportation, and interior design. Along the way, if you enjoy the video and you think I deserve it, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to show that you want to see more stuff like this. Just as I hope you won't forget to check out the generous sponsor of today's video, NordVPN, who go a step further with their threat protection service. It works against intrusive ads, malware, trackers, and you can always get your money back with their 30-day money-back guarantee. So first of all, comparing cities from Starfield and Star Citizen to Cyberpunk's Night City isn't an entirely fair comparison. The scope and development of each—
Low-key, I actually want to play Cyberpunk again. I did complete it to 100% when I was younger because I just didn't have anything to do back then. But I would love to play Cyberpunk again. The only thing, though, I would definitely change how I would play, and I would definitely probably slap on a couple mods once I get finished with the vanilla version.
Game was very different. Only Cyberpunk's development team was focused solely on one city alone, whereas the other two had to balance their focus, costs, and dev time against making sure that the other spaces in their solar system-sized gameplay spaces also felt well realized. The reason why I wanted to still compare them to Night City is because I think that Night City is an excellent benchmark that other games can draw lessons from, even if its density can't realistically be attainable for big games like Starfield and Star Citizen. For comparison, I've chosen New Babbage for Star Citizen since I think it would be a good counterpart to Starfield's crown jewel, New Atlantis. The other options in Star Citizen didn't really fit well, since Lorville's interiors haven't been updated since it was initially released, although the exterior has recently been updated. Orson is a floating city, and ArcCorp is a city planet. I also didn't want to choose Starfield's Neon since its scale was a little bit too small, even though it seems like it would have been a good comparison next to, say, Night City and Lorville. With the explanation then out of the way, I think it's time for us to get into the comparison and go first to the big scale of each of these big cities before diving down into their streets. So this might come to you as a bit of a surprise if you've played Cyberpunk, but Night City is actually quite a bit smaller than typical real-world cities, coming in at just 127 square kilometers compared to something like Chicago, which has a staggering 600 square kilometers.
Holy. To be fair, Night City in the lore is supposed to be right in between the Republic of California and there was some other, like, Federation of California that was fighting against control. And this city, or the land at least, was bought by, I believe, the gentleman's last name. In the lore, the guy's last name was Knight, and that's why they named it Night City. But this is supposed to be a Bay Area, kind of like, I guess it kind of reminds me of like San Francisco a little bit, but it was, Night City in the lore, again, was supposed to represent a symbol of freedom that didn't associate with the two fighting powers of Arasaka and Militech. So I guess that makes sense of why it's so small. It's not an officially established city like Chicago or Austin or New York and everything like that. It's supposed to be this in-between land that two opposing sides are fighting for, and are fighting for the control of it because they believe that it may shift the tide of how the new USA or NUSO will become.
In size. This isn't something, though, that you're really ever going to notice playing due to just how well designed the city is, which I'll explore a little bit more later in the video. While I don't have a measurement for the other two in this comparison, Starfield's New Atlantis is very clearly a lot smaller, with the largest of the three being New Babbage by a long shot. But visual size doesn't always tell the full story of the experience, which you'll find out more about when we get inside them. More on that later. Each of them, though, manages to have a really realistic feel from afar, with well-crafted skylines that build up from the edges realistically towards the center. They also each share distinctive buildings that dominate the skyline near the city's center, which can be seen from afar, like Arasaka Tower for Night City, the Mast Building for New Atlantis, and the Central Microtech Tower with its distinctive keyhole design and Microtech logo. This kind of distinctive architectural style centerpiece building is really important for cities because most cities have that kind of centerpiece. Again, going back to Chicago, it could be the Sears Tower or the John Hancock Building. There's a lot to actually choose from, but those are the ones that primarily come to mind. Each city's master plan is also broken up into distinct districts that make up the whole, from which can help inform the master plan and its realistic buildup. Since Night City got the most amount of development time, it has the most amount of detail and the most amount of districts, which help inform its designs. It has a total of 8 major districts with 16 sub-districts. Districting cities is actually something that we do in the real world to break down administration zones in the city to make more useful policies that can be leveraged. And districts are typically formed around symbiotic relationships in the local economy. Making a successful looking city then for a game means using this principle when planning to make it feel and look realistic. This is something that Night City does especially well. For example, the Watson district is a primarily industrial working class district, which helps inform what it should look like. It features a city's port, warehouses, factories, and low-income housing to help supply those areas with workers. And a lot of the other districts follow the same kind of idea, having their own distinct personalities and architectural styles. Just adjacent to it, for example, sits the beating heart of the city's commerce and trade, the city center, containing the major corporation headquarters of the city, like the aforementioned Arasaka Tower and the Militech Building, and a number of others. This rich and believable tapestry of interwoven city functions then creates a believable layout for the city sprawl, with each district again having its own distinct personality and architectural style, while simultaneously feeling like they each belong to the same city, environment, and era. The amount of work here is absolutely staggering, and it saddens me that we're never going to see another district expanded due to them moving on to Cyberpunk 2 and away from the Red Engine.
I am actually curious of what they're going to do with Cyberpunk 2, because Cyberpunk, in my opinion, I felt like it was set up in a way to where they expected this to be the beginning and the end of the game. Like this was it. It was one game. That's it. This is the horse. This is the horse that's going to be right into the distance. I'm surprised they're making a Cyberpunk 2, and I am curious of what new maps and new characters they're going to introduce. But again, it's going to be like another 10 years before they do that.
The thing I want to point out before moving on is that it has a road network based on a typical grid system that interchanges between more organic shapes, but this is all very intentional, and it's something I want to go into a little bit later when I talk about sightlines, but generally speaking, it looks and feels pretty realistic. But how?
Oh, that's it? We're not going back to Cyberpunk? Oh, we are going to go. Oh, he's like blending all of them in between.
How does New Atlantis fare? Well, it also follows a design principle of creating districts, which include its own residential, commercial, trade, transportation, and low-income districts. Unfortunately, the size of the city doesn't give the districts much room to breathe, leading to the design having some issues that we'll get into later. One distinctive difference, though, from Night City is that its master plan is heavily influenced by its lack of a road system, focusing instead on being a solely walkable city with a single transit system. So instead of roads, the city is connected by plazas and a transit system. You might have heard then of the term a walkable city. It's a contemporary goal of urban planners, especially those in US cities, which are more acutely suffering from congestion and transportation issues than their eastern or western counterparts due to an over-reliance on cars. This has become a source of economic strain where housing is spread out and expensive with long and inconvenient commutes. This in itself could actually fill its own video, but to give you the TLDR, many post-war master plans centered around cars instead of public transit or foot traffic, and this resulted in spaces that are at best unfriendly to pedestrians and at worst downright dangerous. A city in the distant future probably would have worked out a lot of the kinks that we have yet to understand with the way cities should be planned, and so I think having a mostly walkable city seems like it would make sense, but who knows, maybe in the future we have teleporters and we don't need anything. Scale, though, isn't an issue for Star Citizen's new Babbage. As I mentioned before, it's easily the largest of these three in this comparison. The designers here took a lot of time crafting districts to make up the whole.
This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cities in one area.
Whole of the city, creating nodes that branch in an organic feeling manner as if they were built up over time like a real city. However, despite its size, the accessible districts are minuscule in comparison. There's just a single residential building, hospital,
That's too much snow. I would never live here. I would never live on a city or a state that has so much snow. I live in the Midwest. I can't stand snow. Like, I would rather go live in Florida.
Area
This is
and a
disgusting to
spaceport
me.
that can be accessed in detail.
I
To be fair
hate
to Star
snow
Citizen,
so
though,
much.
it's still in development, with most of their studio's resources having gone to a single-player campaign, of which New Babbage plays no part. Still, that's...
This would be a crazy online map, though. Like, imagine playing this with your friends, and you can, like, drive around. This actually would be a pretty good, like, online map.
It does give a sense of realism to the space and immersion when you're approaching in a spaceship. The size of the spaceport even feels appropriate for the size of the city, which would certainly need the infrastructure to support the large population that certainly inhabits it. Like New Atlantis, it largely has no roads though, and this is due in part to the fact that the environment is extremely hostile. This isn't, after all, Earth. And so much of the space is kind of a mix between interior and semi-exterior spaces
Why would
that
you,
are all
wait,
interconnected.
why would you build a city on the most inhabitable planet? Is this supposed to be Starfield? Of course it's Starfield.
The
if it
transit
is.
system that commuters use to get to the various services that the city has to offer. On that subject then, let's take a closer look at these cities. Beginning with Night City, the city's interior, from its streets to public plazas, are breathtakingly well done for a video game. There are a plethora of different scale spaces featuring a variety of believable activities, from commerce to cafes to even illegal transactions happening in back alleys depending on which district you're in. It's clear to me that the designers used real-world precedents as examples. For example, the Kabuki district seems like it took a lot of inspiration from the Kowloon walled city in Korea, which has been since demolished for quite some time now, and the working-class favela slums in Brazil. Some of my favorite locations I'd like to point out include Corpo Plaza with its iconic monolithic Arasaka Tower, among other headquarters, and its circular plaza at the center of the city. Also, Kabuki, which I already talked about, which offers great views to other parts of the city, even though it's on the lower end of the pecking order in the city. Going back to the road network, though, of Night City, one of the things that the master plan does particularly well is reducing sightlines in certain areas to create enclosures in districts to give you a better sense of the area and make it feel like the city is bigger than it is. Roads then often twist at the end, allowing architecture to obstruct views and create controlled illusions. And this enables you to go from insane verticality to rundown suburbs in just a few kilometers, and it can feel like those spaces are many more kilometers apart than they are in reality. In this way, Night City does this great thing of making it feel like the city is bigger than it actually is.
I think Cyberpunk is just a representation of congestion.
Enjoy.
That's what I think it actually is.
Experience the sounds of Nashville with Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Who's going to Nashville? Dude, what's even in Nashville? Can someone tell me what's in Nashville? Is Nashville going? Is going there worth
Comparing
it?
that
Is Nashville even a valid place to go on like a vacation? Is it actually worth it or no? Someone's got to tell me.
to New Atlantis, though, there are some problems. It has a limited number of public spaces due to the size of it, but they're equally as excellent, just fewer in number. They provide a number of different scale social spaces, as well as good public areas for circulation that can help people get to where they need to go, and it has a lot of good water features and trees to help shade and cool the area. But really, that scale issue is constantly coming and biting the designers in the butt a bit here. The smaller size of the city doesn't give designers a lot of room to use environmental design to separate the areas or districts of the city to give them more distinct flavor and character. So no matter where you are, it all kind of feels rather samey, even though they tried to make certain buildings feel more distinct. And that's really...
Don't get me wrong, this city design looks cool, but it's kind of bland.
Unfortunate. And it certainly doesn't help that a city has tall buildings, and so it's much harder to hide them from afar. That means that you can see the buildings in other districts as if they're in the same district that you're in, like in a real city. And this really stops you from being able to make things feel distinct. I see that they
This reminds me of a Helldivers map that you would go in to either rescue it from the cyborgs or the bugs.
tried to use the masked central spire building to separate the districts, but it just doesn't really work because it's the same building seen from two different angles, and so the two different spaces can feel kind of samey. Sculpturally though, the spaces are still beautiful, and the designers here did a really good job with the size of the city that they were limited to. Certainly there must have been some kind of engine limitation here involved. However, and this maybe is just something that I noticed since I regularly deal with scale in my job, it does feel that some of the buildings are a bit smaller than they should be. The Galbank building, for example, would be far too narrow to have practical office
Yeah, that's tiny. That looks super tiny.
spaces inside of them. The effect is that New Atlantis feels a bit like a movie set or something like visiting Disney's backlot or even Main Street. They're expertly created, yes, to give this illusion of scale, but when you view them from suboptimal angles, like the ones you're not supposed
Yeah, this looks like a former Super Earth location.
to, and inspect them more closely, the illusion falls apart. This is starting to sound a bit like I'm not a fan of New Atlantis, and certainly it's the weakest of the bunch, but I don't want to say that it's bad. It's actually got a lot of good going for it. One thing I particularly like is how well it composes sightlines from certain positions, like the space dock when you arrive looking up at the city, and how in some places like the main plaza, it well presents a lot of the buildings that surround it. Afar, it even manages to look fantastic from a lot of angles. The illusion of scale then is really well done despite the fact that these buildings are probably smaller than they should be, and you don't really notice it so much unless you look very closely. It also makes the city quite easy to navigate.
Why does that city look like a swamp though? Like I don't want to live there. Looks muggy.
What about New Babbage though? Well, although the occupiable spaces are few in number, they do still provide a good assortment of different scale locations for social interactions. One strange bit about the city though is that it's mostly interior spaces, unlike the other two examples. As I mentioned earlier, this is due to the harsh cold environment of Microtech, so the line between interior and exterior design should be a bit blurred. That means that there's not so much to talk about when it comes to interior spaces for this city, as everything is already an interior space that the players can occupy. This focus then on interior spaces creates some problems for the on-foot experience. The scale of Star Citizen's New Babbage is unquestionably the largest of the bunch. It's epic, it's incredible, but crucially it can only really be experienced from a limited number of sightlines. The result is that when you walk around in the commons or the spaceport, it can oftentimes feel that you're just in a small room and not in a big city until you're presented with that brief epic moment through a window that's well framed. But what about getting to and from these different locations? Well, now let's take a look at the navigation in these cities. As I mentioned previously, Night City has roads, and so it's the only one of the bunch in which that you'll regularly use vehicles for inner city transit.
This car, chat, when I make it, I want a variation of this car, and I want it custom built. Forget the Lambos, forget the Lamborghinis, forget the Corvettes. Look, if I had to get one car, I want a Porsche 911. Now, I will admit, I'm not a car guy. I am absolutely not a car guy, but I definitely do want to get into it. And this car has always piqued my interest.
Transport. Aside from that though, all three examples have their own rail system as well as their own spaceport. I'm not going to talk about that, but I just thought that was an interesting point. With the 2.1 update, Cyberpunk added the metro system, which is now physically usable as an alternative to fast traveling through a transition that goes from inside to outside and back with a loading screen. So it's not maybe as immersive as some of us were hoping. Additionally, there isn't very much freedom of movement when you get on board the metro. While its addition is welcome then, to enhance immersion, it can sometimes take you out of it at times when you have those loading screens cutting.
I disagree. I think Cyberpunk does a good job when it comes to the immersion when you're on the train. I don't think anyone actually cares if you're walking into the substation, you have to watch it like a cutscene. This is supposed to be something that you're just trying to get yourself in kind of the mood for. Like, this is like, yeah, this is kind of epic. It's a little bit of fan service mixed in with a little bit of like ego boosting what you made in the map.
Between. For those moments though, when you just want to kick back and check out the window view, it can be absolutely epic given how well designed the city is. The same though can't be said for Starfield. While Starfield's metro can be used, technically speaking, it's more of a fast travel system with an animation that falls far short of keeping you immersed. The issue is exacerbated even further by a strange game design choice that allows you to fast travel from the menu to different locations around the city,
Yeah,
which
that's
is,
crazy.
to be honest, just far more convenient. So unless you really want to do it to feel immersed, which isn't really immersive in the first place, most people don't use it. It feels as though they were aiming for something a bit more seamless at one point, but perhaps couldn't pull it off because of the engine or something. The result is lackluster, as you may have guessed. But that definitely is not the case for Star Citizen's New Babbage. New Babbage has its own Hyperloop, which by and far is the best of the bunch in terms of an immersive experience. There are no loading screens here. You just step right onto the train and it takes you to your next stop with no trickery in between. The glass canopy also gives you fantastic and epic views as you zoom across the adjacent frozen lake or as you wind through the building's massive districts. Personally, I think it's by and far the best of the bunch. The same though can't be said for New
I'm gonna have
Babbage.
to disagree with them. I'm a fanboy for Cyberpunk. I disagree. I'm gonna let him slide, but I just disagree. I prefer Cyberpunk's. There's more color, there's more personality, and again, I'm a Cyberpunk fanboy. You can hate me in the comments all you want.
Babbage's gameplay, but we're going to get into that in a moment. What I love about these three examples is that they all represent a different approach to achieving the same thing. For Cyberpunk, all of CD Projekt Red's resources were poured into lovingly crafting Night City. It is, after all, the only location you can visit in the game aside from some very small one-off locations for special missions.
You know Black Forest gummies are organic?
No way. They're so good. Black Forest, real juicy, real good.
The density then of the gameplay is going to be very impressive, with there always being something to do or see. CD Projekt Red has had a long internal design goal for all of their games to properly space out gameplay so that there's never a time where you feel like you're going too long of a distance before something happens, constantly keeping the player engaged and anticipating the next encounter. This can also help play a role in how space and scale is perceived. Small pauses can help create anticipation and appreciation for the environment to give a sense of journey for the player. There's also a good deal of interior spaces to discover, from mission locations to player homes to interesting points of interest. However, it would never be practical to make every...
I know, this is the apartment in Glenwood. This reminds me of one of those apartments, when we're talking about Architect, this reminds me of one of those apartments that are in Manhattan. This is probably, again, hate on me in the comments all you want. This is better than the Corporal Plaza apartment in Cyberpunk. Even though it's more inconvenient and it's not near majority of the missions that you will do, it's still better.
Every building have an interior, so I don't think that's a realistic expectation. The developers then did a good job of spreading out interior spaces to make it never feel like the city is just all facade, even though the majority of it actually is. This is a challenge then for any developer making a virtual city. Starfield and Star Citizen both didn't have this luxury though of focusing on just a single city, because they're space games with planets and star systems to concern themselves with. The result is that, of course, that they're much less dense and complex in their experience than Night City. Despite a similar starting point though, Starfield and Star Citizen both took very different approaches. Starfield, for example, took the approach of crafting a highly detailed, smaller scale city, whereas Star Citizen poured its efforts into making a massive city with less on-foot detail. Once again, the big caveat to this is that Star Citizen isn't done yet, but I'm still going to need to point it out here and where it's falling short currently so that it can be improved. New Atlantis then, in terms of gameplay, is similar to Night City in that they did a good job of giving a good density of gameplay with space in between to breathe. The scale though once again can be a bit detrimental, so sometimes the spaces in between can feel non-existent. This can create a sense of the city being smaller sometimes than it actually is. Interior spaces also suffer from this in some cases. While there are a handful of large-scale spaces, some of them feel strange in scale when compared to the facade. Their visual connections with the exterior are also non-existent for whatever reason, which I suspect once again is related to limitations with the engine. The spaces though aren't terribly designed, and the well location in the underbelly is pretty nicely put together and plays a nice kind of foil to the shiny exterior of the
Okay, chat, I messed up. I'm not gonna lie. I literally got up from my chair because my butt sweat is being glued to the seat, the leather seat I have, and I just realized I left my laundry in the washer, not spinning, for 45 minutes, and I just ran up the stairs so I could put it in the dryer. And I don't know if it's actually going to be dry to where it doesn't have the moldy smell. So let me just run this back real quick.
And star systems to concern themselves with. The result is that, of course, that they're much less dense and complex in their experience than Night City. Despite a similar starting point though, Starfield and Star Citizen both took very different approaches. Starfield, for example, took the approach of crafting a highly detailed, smaller scale city, whereas Star Citizen poured its efforts into making a massive city with less on-foot detail. Once again, the big caveat to this is that Star Citizen isn't done yet, but I'm still going to need to point it out here and where it's falling short currently so that it can be improved. New Atlantis then, in terms of gameplay, is similar to Night City in that they did a good job of giving a good density of gameplay with space in between.
Hold on. You did not just compare Starfield to Night City when it came to design. There's completely difference. One is made with the intent to actually make it feel like people live there, and you are not necessarily a part of it, but you are a cog in the machine. And another was just made by this guy named Todd that just wanted to make a couple bucks. Give me a break.
The scale though once again can be a bit detrimental, so sometimes the spaces in between can feel non-existent. This can create
Again, I've never met a person that actually enjoyed playing Starfield without feeling like they're going to slam their head against a concrete wall.
Sense of the city being smaller sometimes than it actually is. Interior spaces also suffer from this in some cases. While there are a handful of large-scale spaces, some of them feel strange in scale when compared to the facade. Their visual connections with the exterior are also non-existent for whatever reason, which I suspect once again is related to limitations with the engine. The spaces though aren't terribly...
You're telling me this game took 12 years? Wait, no, how long? Let me Google it. No, before I make assumptions, let me Google it. Hold on. How long? Nope, I spelled how wrong. I don't know how I did that. How long did Starfield take to make? According to... Let's see, is this according to... What is this according to? This is the AI prompt. Give me the AI summary chat thingy. It took 8 years. 8 years to make this game. You're telling me that they couldn't get an engine to actually run the game and they ran out of space? It took you 8 years to figure that out? Give me a break. And I'm not saying Project Red and Cyberpunk is not guilty of doing this and doing it way worse, but at least they actually fixed their problems and they won their fan base back. I don't know what Starfield is doing, but they are not making anyone come back to play this garbage.
Designed, and the well location in the underbelly is pretty nicely put together and plays a nice kind of foil to the shiny exterior of the upper levels. Now though, we arrive at what you Star Citizen players knew was coming all along, or maybe already typed out in the comments section before I even got to this point in the video. New Babbage falls far, far behind these two in terms of gameplay and services. The truth is that there's...
Again, if the outside of that area is not able to be accessed, there's no point in building anything else. You might as well just build an underground bunker.
Very little to do within the cities of Star Citizen at the moment, a consequence of their focus on their single-player campaign Squadron 42, which just got to feature complete status last year, which means they're focusing their resources back on Star Citizen, thankfully. This is in fact something that all of the cities in Star Citizen desperately need to improve on. It's not entirely fair then to make this comparison but it's still worth pointing out in my mind for thoroughness. Still, there are locations to visit, such as unique shops that provide a number of different purchasable items, and even what was supposed to be a mission giver at the bar, which hopefully they'll be able to do this year now that they're refocusing again on Star Citizen.
Ribeye steaks, drumsticks, Atlantic salmon.
Cover your week for less. It's an Aldi thing.
This little light of mine in the dark found a hopeful sign.
As a side note, you might also be wondering what gives if you watched my new Babbage video where I talked about how much I love the city. Well, I'm still impressed by it, but this is a comparison video, which means I'm looking at the good and the bad, and unfortunately it just doesn't live up to some of the other examples right now because of what I suspect are the limited resources they've been able to put into it so far. So what are the lessons learned? I think that despite the very low density of gameplay, I still prefer the approach of Star Citizen over Starfield. I respect what Starfield tried to do with bringing down the scale to something manageable, but I still think that they could have made it feel a lot bigger and maybe done a bit more facade. If Starfield had gone with that approach, having a large-scale city with a lot of facade, like I said, with the same amount of gameplay that they currently have, just more spread out, it would have given New Atlantis a much more realistic feel. If Star Citizen can learn anything from this then, is that it's not really important to do the entire city as detailed as possible. The only important thing is that it feels big by spreading out those things and making sure that there's always something to do along the way. Trying to actually match Night City though is really unrealistic and impractical given time and budget constraints, so I don't think I ever expect to see that from games like this. Another thing it could do better is take advantage of sightlines and leverage architecture to create some good framing for establishing really epic moments to embellish the hard work of the environmental designers, something that I think any good city in any good game should include. If you're wondering then which of the three I think is best, well, the answer should have been obvious from the beginning. The game that focused only on one city, Cyberpunk, is in my view the very best city. Night City is the best city. That doesn't make the other
Quite
two
literally the
bad
only
though.
valid option.
Again, limited scope can only produce limited scale. But what do you think? What's your favorite part?
Prove me wrong, Knights. Again, Knights, there isn't a game to where a city has been able to match the bright, colorful, and contrast scale of Cyberpunk. There's just no other game. As bad as the launch may have been, as bad as the fan service may have been, as bad as this, that, everything else in between with the bugs and stuff, when people actually got past it, and again, I didn't play Cyberpunk when it had bugs. I only played Cyberpunk because the anime came out, and the anime was subjectively some of the, like, better ones than some other anime. Again, I'm gonna get so many people in the comments that are gonna scream at me, but Cyberpunk was one of the very first animes that I actually watched and I actually enjoyed watching, because any other anime just felt way too suggestive in themes. It felt way too, like, very aggressive when it came to visuals, and it felt very like it just was unpleasant, because I didn't want to watch something where if I was watching it and then my dad came down to see what I was doing, it would end up being like one of those makeout scenes, and it's like I didn't want to watch that. Cyberpunk did a really good job of making it more mature and just having the knit and grit of a story. And I actually did get into some other anime, but I haven't watched it really anymore. That was a while ago. That was like 2 summers back. Because I just don't really... I'm not a big anime person. I will definitely see in the future if I can get into Cowboy Bebop. Because I thought my dad really enjoyed that anime. And I thought maybe, I might like it too. I'm definitely not an anime person at all, but I enjoyed Cyberpunk as a whole, and that's why I played this game. It's because it had such knit and grit story, and then there was a video game that was based off it. I was like, you know what, let me just try it, and I enjoyed it.
And why? This was a really big subject matter to cover, so I'm sure you have your own thoughts about parts that I wasn't able to discuss, so please share them below, and maybe I can respond to them and see what you think about those parts that you like best. Let me know down below. Otherwise, hope to see you in the next one.
Alright.
Today,
Oh,
you don't mind.
I think that actually might be The main one. I gotta use, actually, you know, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I will be right back, chat. Alright, I'm back. Alright, we're gonna watch some Fleakazoid. We're gonna change the mode a little bit more.
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's
imposing my feminine dominance, brother. Yar, pimp.
Sorry, didn't mean to hit you with the hard yar right out of the gates.
Don't do drugs. Sell them. Sell them to everyone you see. Now let's go take a look at our
Yeah.
powerhouse's assassination technique. As you can see, Yasuke takes 10 fucking minutes to pick him up on his sword. Calm, cool, collected, moisturized, in his lane and flourishing. Then he whispers, "Ah!" and kiss the homie goodnight. No way, man. I take it back. It's a ninja moment right there, and I respect it. And so far, the only response I've gotten from Nintendo is, what do you guys not have credit cards? Bowser's calling us all broke. I'm not broke. You're broke. Really broke.
Quite frankly, you're poor.
Broke back Bowser. That's what we call you.
Oh, what was that picture? Yeah, Chibidoki's definitely taking screenshots.
Bowser, that's what we call you. I'll show you who's broke. I'll pre-order 3 of these Switches right now. You don't have the credit cards. I have the credit cards. Hang up on him. Whatever the fuck you are, Van. Let's go check back in on the dickheads that own everything I love.
World premiere.
Phil Spencer is hitting that Ozempic. Sorry, no Gears of War ED today, guys. They made a trailer, but they couldn't get it up in time. Don't fret, though, Gears of War fans. It could be worse. We could be Thief fans. Hey, idiot! How does it feel to have your favorite franchise brought back only for it to be in VR? Not good, right? Yeah, no, I know. I'm a Batman fan. This has happened to me twice. One more time, and who's to fucking say what I'll be releasing? Holy shit! I need an actual, real negative review to wet my beak. I found one. Proof. I'm not trying to pull one over on you this time. Thumbs down, 17 hours. That's enough time to really get to hate this game. Let's see what this guy has to say.
my
This
God.
game is good. You push your son over like this. Well, son of a bitch. What do you think? I'm some kind of clown? Do I amuse you? You know? Are you doing this to me? I'm trying to turn over a new leaf here, and you're testing me with these words. We can walk forward now. We can finally go straight to Pirate Yakuza. Fuck this game. I'm out of here.
Just what is this? Just a public execution, dude.
Been told told my singing drives people to drink. I guess greatness inspires greatness. Please have some more. Which actually leads me to my next point. A disturbing amount of you seem to think that this major success will allow the 19,000 people working here to keep their jobs, and unfortunately that's just not true. Notice how that number doesn't say number 1 in day 1 earnings? Well, that means we'll be laying off at least a couple thousand Frenchmen, and we'll be replacing them with several more sweatshops. And just as a little side note on all that sweatshop business, we are deeply disturbed that word got out about that. Why the hell do you think we hired them? Because they tuck them in at 5 o'clock and have an office wine cooler? We already tried that, and look at how that worked out for us. We got Frenchies starting a revolution every other goddamn day. You know what the nice thing is about sweatshops? They don't pay them enough to buy picket signs. Allegedly, from what I hear, people say this, I don't know. I'm like the John Daly of putt-putt. That's right, I'm severely overweight and I have a gambling problem. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? If this hobby gets any more expensive, I'm gonna start reading fucking books. Hang on, I'm getting a booty call. That's what I call my special calls with Mr. Booty. Gaming's new competition is ducks.
You guys are hysterical. Okay, I got one too. A stalker wakes up with a real bad hangover. He opens one eye and
the subtle. No, I can't.
sees something hairy and scary, baring his teeth at him. The stalker goes, shit, I'm in some kind of zone waste. That's straight up me, man. You're the one that's wasted, says the sea dog.
That was a good one. That was very funny. Fuck it, my soul could use fuel pump. The mechs, the dragons baby birding beams of hellfire down a monster's throat. It's just pure awesome shit in comparison to the last AAA game I played, where a very different monster was going down Yasuke's throat. And that's the last I'll talk about AC Shadows. No, it's not. Horde mode put me at a crossroads. Get good at the game or become CJ with a flamethrower that has unlimited ammo. But I'm no cheater, and under no circumstances would I ever mod a game. I modded the game. Bitch, I'm back on my coma. We're gonna burn, and we're gonna maim, because we're doing that.
CJ, we have to burn this heresy, CJ.
Oh shit, here we go again.
After just an astonishing launch, Activision is thanking the fans for all the positive feedback, and they've actually chosen me to personally thank them, so let's do it. This game gave me acne, AIDS, allergies, Alzheimer's disease. Just an embarrassing release and an embarrassing game. Activision thanks you, West 1107. Anal itching, anxiety disorders, arthritis, asthma, as well as... This guy says, thanks to everybody for using code bail money with this close. Autism, asbestos, bad breath. I got scammed. Yes, you did. And Activision thanks you for it. Bacterial vaginosis, benign prostate hyperplasia, that's French. Bipolar disorder, bone cancer, bone placement disorder. This franchise's eyes is dead. I couldn't have said it better myself. Brain cancer, brain damage, brain tumors, bronchitis. Thumbs up. Bam! Hey, remember when the French said, ho-ho, croissant, 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 ho-ho? Well, Team Ninja just announced that Neo 3 will be mixing ninjas and samurais into one character. They've done what no other Frenchman has done before. They didn't surrender and they achieved victory. Wouldn't you know it, all Ubisoft was missing was something called a single button press. Have you heard of this?
And it's even more important now, this moment that we're looking at, both President Trump and Vladimir Putin inside the beast. You can see, it looks like President Trump is actively speaking. They're animated.
Boy, this will be the conversation that people will be wondering about at the end of the day.
Why did they remove the cracker from the Cracker Barrel logo?
What in the world is this? Ain't no way.
Oh, what are these crackers doing? There's gonna be a real small change to EA games moving forward. Ronaldo will be in every single one of them now. The Saudis are bullish on Ronaldo. They just paid him $700 million to stay in their lives for a couple more years. Hell, they just bought a whole fighting game franchise just so they could put Ronaldo in it. Ronaldo and big titties are a package deal. You can't have one without the other, pimp. The Saudis love Ronaldo. Hope you don't mind this change.
Ronaldo versus Leon Kennedy is crazy. Okay. You know, I'm getting a little... This is a little too much, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, was there any other videos that I want to watch? No. Other than negative stuff. Let's scroll on the main page. Oh, I was just talking about this yesterday. This posted 1 hour ago? Bet. Let's watch that.
Get up to $300 in savings on a set of 4 eligible tires during our Spring Tire Spectacular.
Thank you, Firestone.
Coffee has been around for nearly 500 to 600 years. And you could argue it's probably one of the most successful drugs ever released to society. People's whole civilizations built off these damn beans. Of course, when coffee wasn't hitting hard enough, they had to make a teeny tiny...
Not this dude. This Roblox playing, Reddit moderating, Discord daddy for his kittens. This dude, I don't even want to get into this guy.
Subtle switch to cocaine to boost production. Hey, we can say what we want about it, but you can't tell me they wasn't handling with swiftness from the 70s to 80s, which was at the time in the US when things were at their most affordable. But sadly, that became illegal, so eventually they found a brand new, totally not harmful at all product to replace it: energy drinks. And slowly over time, especially since the 2000s, they become more and more popular every year, with Gen Z now leading the chart as the group who consumes the most energy drinks. And I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie too. I slammed a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I was a large and 2 energy drinks today.
It's not even close. We're kind of close.
according to studies nowadays, 75 to 80% say they drink them regularly, and older generations drink them the least. But to be fair, that doesn't mean older generations don't have caffeine. They just have coffee a lot more than energy drinks. I can give boomers credit on that though. They can manage their caffeine a lot better than us. You know, other than destroying the world's economies, causing wars for no reason, being selfish and on younger generations for a world they created, and saying just buy a house like I did for 2 pennies and a handshake, seems like they've gotten caffeine addiction pretty beaten. And as someone who started having energy drinks and pre-workout around 4 years ago when I turned 19, not gonna lie, it was mainly because I started...
Hey, Tommy getting in the gym. Ayo. Good for you, buddy. Nice job.
Going to the gym and wanted to get the best gains. Caffeine addiction is probably top 5 addictions this generation has right now.
Oh no, it's top 3. No, it's top 3. It's definitely top 3.
Especially when I started having it more, I can understand why it's hard for some people to stop. Because just like all other stimulants, you end up getting a tolerance to it and needing more. For some people, it's bad. It can get to the point where if you have it too much, days you don't have it will give you headaches. And some people even throw up because their body needs it. Which is why you should always keep it balanced and have some break days a week where you don't have caffeine, like at least 2 days in the week. But even then, with people having it, one thing I didn't realize, because I did research before I started having it, is how many people don't know the limits and drink over it a day. The FDA and most of the world's health organizations say you should have a max of 400 milligrams of caffeine a day.
Yeah, I definitely surpassed that. Like, ain't no way.
Which is already a lot. For reference, that's having 4 cups of coffee a day, 10 cans of soda, or 2 cans of 200 milligram energy drinks. For real, the only reason you should even be having that much is if you go to the gym and lift a lot or work like 14-hour days. But even with this being...
Yeah, I might be the exception in this case then, because I did used to work 12 hours and go to the gym, but... maybe. 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 I don't know. I could definitely be wrong.
In clear public information, people will casually brag online that they have double that amount or even more. Like, you just admitting to overdosing on social media in 2026 because that's what you're doing.
How much caffeine do you drink per day? 1,000 milligrams, which is 1 gram, which is 10% a lethal dose. What's your 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day, like, schedule? I started the day out with 4 shots of espresso. I mixed that with 2 protein shakes. That's about 256 grams of caffeine. Later in the day, I have a
Yeah, also, this guy is a scammer, bro.
workout before I hit the gym. This one is like 300 milligrams of caffeine, so now we're at like 650. And then I'll probably either have another one of these later in the day for my second workout, or 4 more shots of espresso. Around 1,000. Do you have a problem sleeping? No, I sleep great. I track it with my Oura ring every night. I can drink a pre-workout and go to bed if I wanted to. What is the most amount of caffeine, milligrams of caffeine you've had in one day, and how did it make you feel? For me, my all-time high, career high.
What are you eating? Is that peanut butter or is that dog food? Dude.
Milligrams in one day. That's a lot. And
What
I remember,
is
so I had 2
that?
brains.
Get that bowl out of my face, dude. Ew.
So that's 600 right there. And then I had, I think, like 2 or 3 Diet Cokes. So that got me up to like 750.
The
And
comment section of this video is worse too. Somebody said 3,200, which is 8 times the max limit. 1,750 milligrams, which is 4 times.
Okay, I haven't been to these numbers. I mean, I've taken like I said yesterday on stream, like I did 8 to 7 cans of White Monster, but I don't Oh, wait, maybe I did. Wait, how? Let me put it in the calculator. Okay, so I technically was like 100 milligrams off from these two. Or actually the one, sorry.
The funniest thing about this is having all this caffeine is actually going to make it work worse for you. You're just bringing up your tolerance to the point of having one energy drink is going to give you 0 effect on your body. So if you think you're caffeine addicted for almost having the limit every day, there's levels to this shit. You at level 2. Obviously, the main problem with having that much is you risk having a heart attack at any moment. Your heart can only handle
Why is this image so crusty?
Stimulation before it pops. There was a sad case recently of someone in Gen Z passing away from having too much caffeine. The 17-year-old girl named Larissa Rodriguez was having energy drinks a lot from a specific brand called Alani. Now at her
It's always the Alanis.
age, even though it's not recommended to have energy drinks under 18, as a teenager, the max you're supposed to have if you do is 100 milligrams a day. And the Alani has 200 milligrams, so we're already starting off.
How many did she drink, though?
On October 20th, 2025, she sadly passed away from a heart attack after having them. Although it's not exactly confirmed how many she was having a day, people are speculating it was way more than the limit because you don't pass away at that age without really putting pressure on your body.
Yeah, you would need to drink Alani like you would need to drink water. There's no other way, because either you were doing a PR, like there's context that needs to be answered.
You saw that TikTok comment section. There was admitting to having absurd amounts, and even they didn't pass away. The biggest thing going around was that she was having 6 of them a day.
I don't know how I survived then, because I, again, don't want to brag about it, but something else got me up, because ain't no way I'm taking 8 a day, and I was like, yeah, light work. I would even add honey to them, because they just didn't taste sweet enough.
Which would be 1,200 milligrams a day. 3 times the daily limit, by the way, for an adult. And if that's really true, it's so crazy how people don't check the limits of shit anymore. The fact that no one in her life told her she has to stop having that much because it's gonna make her die faster is crazy. If I had 1,200 milligrams of caffeine a day, I'd probably be able to run around the whole world 3 times and still be good. For her body, she definitely got used to it, which is the problem. And now her family's trying to sue the company, saying they didn't
Yeah, trying to sue the company is going to fix the problem.
have enough warnings about excess caffeine use, even though it says it right on the can. Or you could search up the health facts online and instantly know the limits. Rest in peace to her, obviously. Tragic death, but this lawsuit is not gonna go anywhere. This would be the equivalent of someone who died from alcohol poisoning suing the beer company for giving them that much alcohol. Also, what the f were the parents doing? They should have especially asked her about her energy drink habits.
Well, she was probably drinking them at school, so of course they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that she was drinking that much, because I'm willing to bet that in the school there's vending machines that are serving that type of stuff. Because the reason why I know it is because our school did it too. Our school served energy drinks right up to you. Now, they weren't like the name brand ones, I will say, but they were definitely like the Starbucks cut, like the Starbucks glass ones, the matcha or whatever, you like those little things. The ones matcha is not the word, but you get the point. The glass espresso Starbucks things that you can get if you get points at your school. They were served them right up, so of course they wouldn't know.
Then she was having so much. My mom to this day still gets on my ass for having any type of caffeine, and I'm not gonna lie, she's right. Low-key, in general, no one should be having caffeine preferably. The tolerance comes up no matter what, even if you drink coffee. But if you are gonna be drinking it like most people in the world do, you should at least be hitting the limit max and not going higher than it. It also doesn't help that energy drinks have turned into a hobby for people. Like, why does everything have to be a hobby, man? TikTok has ruined doing any type of thing. You have people show off their collections of energy drinks like they're a car collector. They can point out every single chemical compound in each drink like they're Walter White.
Oh my goodness. See, this is just so unreasonable to do. It's just hoarding. It's literally hoarding. Also, that lemonade flavor, S tier. I don't know where that flavor went. Or no, that's the tea. Maybe it was tea. It's been so long. This one, I hate that they discontinued it. I've never had this one before. I don't know what this one is. I've had this one, I think, once, but I just did not like it. I can't really see that well. Yeah, I can't really differentiate. some of these. This one was S tier, that's all you need to know, and they stopped making it. And I was so pissed. Bum's a good choice. Gorilla Mind, in my opinion, is overrated. I know it's a cotton candy flavor in the back. I've never had this flavor. I've had these two flavors, they're pretty decent. I've never had these two monsters before. I don't know what this brand is, but he obviously likes them. Okay, get back. Oh, hold on. I saw Celsius. I'm seeing. Yeah, this is just hoarding. I don't even do it. Okay, Poppy's not an energy drink in my opinion. Poppy is just a dietary soda.
This is an expensive hobby. I don't know how they're getting all these different types of cans. Okay, well, not expensive like being a car collector, but a 12-pack energy drink is usually like 30 bucks, so it adds up. The closer you are to them, the more you're gonna want to drink it. So it's probably not the best idea if you already take a lot of caffeine now to stack up on it. Energy drinks gonna be calling your name midday like the Green Goblin mask. Now, in defense of all this caffeine consumption, because one may wonder why Gen Z has so much, it's a couple of reasons. One being currently in college, and since you're studying a lot more, you need more energy, hence the energy drinks. Every generation has had their things for colleges. Back then it was taking out your stress on a cigarette pack, or taking coke to make the 7 a.m. test. Also going to the gym a lot more, which like I said is the reason I even have it on my days off I don't. If you're coming from working a long day and want to hit the gym after, most people need a little something to pick themselves up. Another thing some people might be surprised by is partying. There's been an uprise in bars serving drinks with energy drinks intertwined, or just drinks having it themselves. Some people completely replace having alcohol with just an energy drink and go to—
Dude, these images are so deep fried. And I'm telling you right now, like, what is happening?
a concert. The alcohol industry might be dead by the time we're old. They're practically begging for the youth to drink. But
see, it looks so much better on stream when I do 720, but anything else, it's cooked. Also, that image is so deep fried. What in the world?
we have morals, alright? We draw the line at getting blackout drunk. We'd rather be getting heart attacks by 30 or getting severely addicted to gambling that we lose our life savings. It could also be that statistically Gen Z right now is the most stressed generation. Whether you
I wonder why.
believe that or not, every time a generation is feeling stressed, there's always something to help with that cope. One of the other reasons for the uptick is it seems like everyone has an energy drink now. I can't even count on my hands how many celebs have come out with their own custom energy drinks. The Rock has one, Kim Kardashian has one, Logan Paul and KSI, which we all remember. Kids were getting—
May I be clear? All of them are bad. They taste all bad, and I know it because I've had friends that have tried the Kim K as well as the Rock. They're all the same. They're all just taste like actual bun cheeks with sweat dripped in. Actually tastes so bad. Genuinely awful.
Act out thinking a prime energy drink was just like their apple juice, only to all of a sudden be able to bench 500 pounds 5 times in a row. Parents don't truly check on their kids anymore because how is your kid casually having caffeine at 8 years old and 10 years old and you don't even know? Even Barron Trump, Donald Trump's son, announced he's releasing one in May of this year. What the f does this know about energy drinks? I don't think I've even heard him talk. The only thing I want to see him do is be in them war fields for the his father started. The main problem with it is it's not like food or something that doesn't affect your body too much. It's a stimulant that if you have too much, you can die from. I assume even people who don't drink caffeine who are fans of these celebs are gonna try their energy drinks and potentially get hooked on having them. Or may not know they can only have a certain amount before they get Fortnite eliminated. You should also only be having the energy drink in the morning or 3 p.m. max. Any later and good luck getting any type of sleep. There's a ton of people who have permanent sleep problems every night because the amount of caffeine they consume. Caffeine has a half-life of 3 to 7 hours, meaning it takes that much time to get down to half the amount in your system. And if you have like 200 milligrams at 5 p.m., you're still gonna have a cup of coffee and a half in your system by 10, extending the time it takes for you to sleep. You most likely won't be able to sleep until like 1 or 2 a.m., which for anyone in school or that has a job, that's probably gonna make life worse for you. Or you're gonna have the worst stage of it.
Yeah, it just
copious amounts of caffeine in the daytime.
It leaves room for you to just do it again in the morning because you need it.
While at night downing a bottle of melatonin to fight it. It creates an endless—
Yeah, I also took like, I'm pretty sure I took way too much melatonin but I took at minimum like 10 gummies a night.
The cycle of you doing that until one day you either take a break or I guess wait until you're at 900 milligrams of caffeine every day.
Dude, this image is so deep fried. What is going on with my PC?
The night. To wrap it up, the main lesson of today's video, I guess, is to always remember the limits of caffeine. More and more are there cases of people either having heart attacks or destroying their bodies over having too much, which is why we should put cocaine back in Coke bottles. Follow me.
No, we should not do that. We should not do that. Not a good idea. Alright, moving on. Is there anything else? I don't care about Rockstar being hacked. Nothing seems interesting at all. You know what? Let's watch this. Ain't no... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore that.
Grass-fed beef thyroid contains everything that a thyroid needs for optimal function.
I would not buy that product.
Power slide.
Check this out.
Damn, Leon, have you been training with the boulder punching Chris? Mr. X really traumatized that boy to get in the gym. Our man Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil went from athletic rookie cop to brolic tank weapon. So what actually happened to get our boys some gains? Yo, dudes and dudettes, your friendly neighbor Jack Slade is back with another episode of Would That Work Out? The series where I use my knowledge of personal training exercise science to analyze a fictional character's routine, see how effectively it would be if attempted in real life. And today we're talking about my man, Leon Kennedy. But in this universe, injections aren't all that surprising for increasing mass. But I do think there's a bit more to it. So let's talk about how Leon got started, what training he did, how he'd bulk up over the years, would it work in real life? And if so, how effectively, so you can get your own sexy Asian situationship going on.
Hey yo, oppa.
Been there myself, not gonna lie, it's pretty fun. Now here's the thing, depending on
Wait, that dude has an Asian wife?
Where you look and where you start, Leon's origin is a bit messy. For example, for years due to newsletters Capcom made in the 90s and 2000s, people thought that Leon's parents got killed and inspired him to be a cop, but apparently that information given out in early magazines has been mixed among fans. And there's this back and forth considering it more retconned, but you can find this stuff archived at projectumbrella.net. This user from Reddit talks about what could be his origin, but you know, just like how in the original game, according to the creator himself, Leon got dumped, was drunk, and missed his chance to go to Raccoon City, which saved his life. But then in the remake, Leon is warned to stay away, but then goes in anyway. There's just varieties of this. So personally, I've always liked the family angle, so canon or not, let's go with that for this video. Leon started off in a Bruce Wayne fused with Frank Castle-esque situation, where his family was murdered when he was a child, but he was saved by a police officer who then inspired Leon to become a cop himself. Years later, he ends up in Raccoon City, and everything that goes bump in the night, Leon has to bump back against. So first off, let's look at the training it actually takes to become a police officer, and when I talk about this, we're picturing the dope ones like these inspirations.
Hey, alright, hold on. I don't know who this one is. I don't know who this... Maybe this one? I don't know. I know this one, though. Absolute
Like
cinema.
While you may see some overweight cops from time to time, don't let that fool you into thinking that becoming a member is easy, depending on the area. To become a police officer, you have to be able to pass a general fitness test. That includes stuff you do in gym class back in the day, such as running, calisthenics, and maybe obstacle course training. Police training definitely incorporates obstacle course training, but I wonder if they still do it in schools, because I remember that was always fun back in the day. You also have to be able to handle high-stress situations, since you are potentially going to be putting your life on the line if you get into shootouts or fights with potential criminals or ugly bastard hentai-looking monsters. So, basic combat sparring and target shooting drills are imperative. This type of training is not meant to make you into someone like Ronnie Coleman, but can make damn sure you are athletic enough to have enough functional fitness capabilities to handle high adrenaline situations. Leon most definitely proved that all through Resident Evil 2, and then an anti-umbrella government agency got him to join, and this got our backstreet looking boy even more elite training with this career change. He mentions how his training with them and Krauser, a former special agent mercenary and Leon's former partner, nearly killed him. So while we don't see much, we can still assess from what happened, from what we've been told, and also just from how Leon moves during gameplay. Leon is able to react fast, move very explosively, fight multiple opponents, can do totally necessary backflips when the time calls for it,
Absolutely
barely
necessary.
seems to gas out, but also is very durable to handle certain things. The combo of strength training and athletic conditioning is imperative in this field of work. So movements such as weighted pull-ups, towel grip pull-ups, bench press, deadlifts, weighted carries, dips, overhead presses are all used by strong personnel in government agencies in real life in their designated weight rooms. All of these movements can help build that dense, functional, fighter-ready muscle that we see Leon gradually develop. By byproduct, they also help build a thicker body, which makes you a lot more durable in a lot of areas. He's also very explosive and powerful and jumps around like Nightwing at times. So I put money on things being added in such as box jumps, sprints, agility drills, and just various throws, because these can all help boost those attributes even more. Possibly also doing stuff like reaction training movements, which help you to improve your reflexes so that you can dodge unpredictable moves more effectively. Since we know Leon trained combat with Krauser and on various missions gained experience fighting various things, mixed martial arts style training utilizing things such as grappling or punches that are able to destroy doors and kicks definitely helped him to improve his physical ability and also his pain tolerance. And then, of course, he did tons of mobility movements so Leon doesn't end up like... Now, here's the thing. Leon's current build actually tracks for someone who's been training for literal years non-stop from like age 20 to his early 50s. And something I think to remember about Resident Evil is unlike a series like The Last of Us or The Walking Dead or any like apocalypse show, Resident Evil isn't a worldwide apocalypse. No, these are incidents that happen in isolated areas and they F up those areas, you know, greatly. But it's not like a worldwide thing. There are still places you can go and relax. Realistically, he could train for years without any issue and also be well-fed nutritionally. Leon, when not on missions, could rest and also eat tons of good nutritious foods to help build his body. It's why I always say when you actively lock in on the three-leg stool of fitness, sleep, training, nutrition, you would be surprised how much gains you can make in a year versus half-assing it the entire time. If one of those legs is wobbly on you, fortify it immediately. Matter of fact, if you want to do that, I have a Nerdy Fit group to keep you accountable. Just check my link in the pinned comment below. Matter of fact, let's break down why he looks so dilfy.
I'll tell you why he's stealthy.
What is that for?
Knows how to work it. I am barking and feral over those biceps over here. I just could thumb my face into it and I would drag my dick.
Who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of my house.
What? What is that skit?
I'm not really a cupcake, but I am super baked, thanks to Mood Can.
Mood is third-party tested, so you know it's...
Anyways, so Leon's got a low body fat percentage, but it's not crazy low. Like, for example, think of Mortal Kombat characters, Z-Fighters, or various comic superheroes, where they are all basically rocking the dehydrated pro bodybuilder on stage look 24/7. Those bodies look awesome and it makes sense why they use them in various forms of fiction, but they are just not functional for long endurance based activities at all, like, you know, fighting or running or doing all these crazy things. Yes, it looks awesome to look like a freaking badass action figure, but it is going to gas you out. Ask any pro bodybuilder on stage or anyone who's that level of lean for doing long endurance things. It's just not the ideal thing to have. So, if you want to learn more about that specific thing as well, just check out this video right here. And Leon's body fat percentage just appears to be in a healthy range. Like, people think you have to have sub 10% body fat to look attractive, when that is just not true for the vast majority of people. Literally, in between 10 to 15% body fat will give you a great look while also allowing you to live life and enjoy time out with your friends, because you can still eat and drink and be merry. My good friend the Pioneer talked about this masterfully and also did his own Leon video, which was spectacular too. The point is, you don't need to be taking medical injections designed for people who have diabetes or who are morbidly obese to blunt your hunger just so your six-pack looks extra cut. If you're not getting on stage competing, then that's just vanity, dude. And most of the time people say they do it for themselves, but in actuality, they are doing it for admiration or women's attention. But most ladies straight up like you more like...
Yeah. For me, like, I literally cannot do. I can't even work out anymore without feeling paranoid about how I look. But my body dysmorphia is just so bad.
Ryan Gosling over, say, a Baywatch-looking Zac Efron. Take your time and you'll get there. He's also got broader shoulders now and much more defined arms. And yeah, years of lifting and eating around maintenance or a surplus and getting enough protein and recovery can do that for you naturally, especially when we look at what he has been doing this entire time. Fighting constantly, carrying gear and weapons everywhere, climbing, and much more. Years of that on top of physical training will help you build a nice body by byproduct and look great. So it's not all that unreasonable to build a body like this IRL. Now, I had to do some digging because I couldn't remember exactly what happened, but from what I looked up, initially I saw a lot of people say the T virus and the Las Plagas parasites played a role in his current gains. But from what I found, and you can feel free to tell me if I missed something because it's been a long time, the Las Plagas parasite got removed. I asked my friend Autumn Ivy about this, who's a Resident Evil superfan, and she said that the original ones were removed, though the newest virus was dormant, and it's been argued that they did in fact give him heightened resilience and spidey sense. So, yeah, that's great. Thanks, Autumn. Go check out her channel, it's great. So right now, it appears he's just a jacked older dude. So the only injection he may have is some TRT, and that doesn't stand for Tyrant Resident Trend. But more than likely, the game developers weren't thinking that, so they probably just had him working out consistently. So yeah, that type of training consistently would help build a body like that if you were consistent in all areas of the 3-leg stool of fitness and you were actually able to survive certain things. But like, again, it's a lot of stuff to just go into. But if you made it this far in the video, type Ada soon down in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think of the new Resident Evil game. Comment down below. And do you prefer Leon when he was more athletic build or now that he's more tanky and stuff like that? Maybe I should start Twitch streaming again like I used to do all the time back in 2018. I forgot how I did this.
Yeah, he definitely should.
But anyways, if you want a coach to actually help you reach these goals, to lock in on it, just DM me on the little link in the description down below. We'll talk on Zoom and I can see if I can.
Yeah, I would definitely watch his streams. But that's gonna be all for today. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I hope everybody didn't mind my subpar controversial rants. I hope I get to see you guys tomorrow.